Come across. The best backed runner on the sports bet books all day is Overpass, and he brings that hot Sydney form. Forbidden Love, Lost and Running. He's here to play. Geez, he gets in so well. When we started 270 to 235 into 210 yesterday, hello, on race day into $1.75. Red figures.
The English sprints. Ready to gallop. Gates crash and racing. Daily Bugle away cleanly. Over on the far side, Pegasi jumped away pretty fast. Coming up the middle, Spellcatcher out quickly with Lord Paramount, and also Overpasses joining in. After a couple of 100 metres, look flying. He's exceptional. And Shadow Devil, 350 metres to go. Lord Paramount under pressure with Pegasi. Overpasses still right up there on the outside, but here comes some run. Sneaky Five and Able Willie over on the far side, followed by He's Exceptional with about 150 metres to go. It's Overpass in front of Able Willie, and they were followed by Spellcatcher. Overpass with 50 to go. Spellcatcher's coming up the favourite, but too classy. Overpass took the big prize, 3/4 of a length. Second, Spellcatcher. Third might be the art of flying. Able Willie there as well, followed by Sneaky Five, Baranoff. He's Exceptional. Zeta Rita, Daily Bugle, Shadow Devil.
Well, the class runner of the race prevails, but I'm sure there was backers right around the country, who knows, maybe even internationally, that had this horse rolling into multis and all manner of things that were just shifting ever so slightly in their seat, probably through the 200. But in the end, Josh Parr able to pilot Overpass home for, in the end, a relatively comfortable victory. Best part of 3/4 of a length from Australia.
Overpass, getting up, getting the cash, the best backed runner all day. Now we start talking about the big guns here. Zaki's in town, drifting favourite though, taking him on. Inspirational Girl's been the best backed on race day, well, ever since markets open, to be honest. So Zaki, we opened up at $1.90. You're now getting $2.40. We were thinking on Get On Thursday night, $2.20, $2.25.
Beating 50 Stars. 50 Stars has won the 2 previous editions. Hutch, who do you like here in the 2022 Blamey?
Good way. I think I'm going to have something on Mr. Brightside. I think he can race very well here. I like the cushion. The blinkers back.
Zaki all the way for me. I've followed him throughout his time down in here in Victoria, and I thought he paraded excellently today. He looked outstanding. He just
now he was 240, 245. Would you believe that? Interesting. Market's taken him on because, as I mentioned, $1.90 we opened up, suggesting that he mightn't lead and control this. And if so, he'll box eat and they'll try and outride him. Inspirational Girl, clearly the best backed. Also Frosty Lane riding
them racing. Zaki from barrier number 1 jumped away well with Corner Pocket, who heads it off early. Not too far away, Mr. Brightside, and Luna Fox is going to lob right behind them in 4th place. 3 lengths Purple Sector, Inspirational Girl making up ground on the rails. Then came King of Leogrand's King Magnus, second last Banker's Choice, and at the end of the field is Pondus at Chiquita Lodge. Mr. Brightside's going to take it up. No one really wanted it, so Williams took it up by 3/4 of all. 1,000 metres to go, no pressure up front. Mr. Brightside by a half length now, and neck to Corner Pocket. Zaki third, the inside, followed by Luna Fox, 1.25 length, Inspirational Girl. Then came Purple Sector, King of Leogrand's King Magnus, Banker's Choice, and Pondus at the end of the field. It's been a bit of a crawl for this class. Mr. Brightside led, approaching the 600 metres from Corner Pocket. Zaki behind them. Luna Fox peels 3 wide. Inspirational Girl is trying to get to the outside. Purple Sector around her. They were followed by King Magnus, King of Leogrand's, Pondus and Banker's Choice in the running. 400 metres to go, and it's Mr. Brightside about to let go by 3/4 of a length. Corner Pocket. Zaki needs an out, then Inspirational Girl and Luna Fox. Mr. Brightside, 250 metres to go. The sprint on. There's a run now for Zaki, about to use it. Zaki explodes through. Inspirational Girl late. Zaki, 100 metres to go, 3/4. Inspirational Girl's coming at him. It's going to be close. She got it. Inspirational Girl nailed Zaki. Photo third. Corner Pocket, Mr. Brightside, and then Banker's Choice. A gap to King Magnus, King of Leogrand's, Pondus, Purple Sector, and Luna Fox at the end of the field. Inspirational Girl. She qualifies for the mile in a couple of weeks' time.
22. Analyse every second of it. Damien Lane from 7 of 10 gets to the fence, gets the back of the race favourite Zaki, and as Zaki got a gap for Jamie Carr through the speed in Mr. Brightside and Corner Pocket, and speed in inverted commas because they were doing 13s through the early.
They crossed Jamie Carr really. She didn't panic, and she had a chance ultimately late in the race, and Zaki, he was there, but a brilliant ride from Damien Lane there, Michael, and great to see Inspirational Girl back.
In yesterday's Blamey for the $5 million All-Star Mile in a fortnight's time back at Flemington. That wild card was claimed by Inspirational Girl, Danny O'Brien and Damien Lane, but Damien Lane's ride here, horse dwelt ever so slightly. He heads straight for the rail and the Bakazaki.
Yeah, well, we talked about sort of the flip side of that in the first 100, just making that key decision quickly for Damien Lane. He was straight back down onto the fence and had the option there to follow Zaki. Little surprise at...
Now for Zaki, about to use it. Zaki explodes through. Inspirational Girl late. Zaki 100 metres to go, 3/4. Inspirational Girl's coming at him. It's going to be close. She got it. Inspirational Girl nailed Zaki.
There's a few on by the sounds of it too. 6 kilo weight swing told, and I think the fact that she'd had that run in the all fresh. There was, in a parallel universe somewhere, Zaki was running in the Canterbury Stakes over 1,300 metres on his resumption yesterday. So I don't think he loses any admirers with the All-Star Mile as his clear target.
Yeah, it's a fair call, and many may say as well Zaki had his chance. I think we saw last prep, though, he's better when he's able to build and get the tempo that he likes. But he presented, so that's the flip side. Jamie can say that also. Look, the winner is a pretty exceptional talent, and obviously under the conditions of the race yesterday was really well in. And she is obviously a very, very talented galloper in her own right.
There's no doubt about that. For her to get in at 53 kilos under the set weights and penalties and get 6 kilograms from Zaki, I mean, that ultimately told at the end of the race. So when they're back on weight for age terms in a couple of weeks' time, I think Zaki can turn the tables on.
You think Zaki will turn the tables?
Yes, I do, yeah. I think that's the race that Zaki's been set for, this preparation with, obviously some ownership through Neil Wilson.
Wild card horses that will make the All-Star Mile field on after the last here on Racing.com tomorrow night at 6:30. It's going to be interesting to see how things close out, and there's how the market sits right now. Forbidden Love, perhaps a horse who could come down here, but says, well, Pinstripe's perhaps the one flying the flag as Enver Yusufovic looks to carve out his own piece of history and win the Australian Guineas, his first big Group 1. Let's go to Simon Marshall for a market update.
Outstanding Nige, great stuff there. Profondo opened up $4.20 favourite, and well, punters were quite soft on him because when he drew an outside barrier, he started to drift out of the market when markets open on Wednesday afternoon. It's his first look at Flemington, first up.
They're all obviously contenders, but Profondo for me.
I'm going with the horses that have got recent racing on their side, and I'm siding with Pinstriped and Forgot You. I want to back those.
All the straps have done a wonderful job, which makes my job even harder. But I picked Pinstriped on top for me. I thought he's come on from that last run. And
that is for sure, and on race day, they're sticking solid, and he's holding very good turnover. Second to Profondo, though, your favourite. So punters sticking with Profondo to, well, gallop really strong on speed from that wide barrier. 4:20.
Racing in the Australian Guineas. And a pretty good line too. Bonza Pearl is going to drift out to the end of the field. From its wide gate, Zarel is last with Predeturn. Rhinoceros jump quickly with Light Sabre, and they share it early by a length. Ranchan, Maurice's Medad is pouring it on deeper and made almost a line of 3 up near the front. Hitotsu 50 inside from Captivant. Profondo's 4 deep and improves to about 5th. They were followed by Forgot You. A length and a half, Pashiro back in turn, and Bonza Pearl is in that back group as well. Rhinoceros the leader, led by about a length. 2 in second, Maurice's Medad. Light Sabre third, the inside. Profondo's going to have to do it hard. 4th out, 3 wide. A length away to Ranchan, Captivant, and then came Hitotsu and Forgot You travelling together. A length, Pashiro, Bonza Perla, Allegron, Pinstripe, Sharp Response, Zarel, and at the end of the field, Predeturn as they come around the corner. Rhinoceros led Light Sabre. Maurice's Medad, Profondo in plenty of air. 4 and 5 deep, coming to the middle of the track, didn't handle the corner. They were followed by Ranchan, back to the inside. Hitotsu runs on, and Forgot You's coming through too. Light Sabre in front, led by a length. Bonza Perla is flashing down the outside with Hitotsu. It's Light Sabre just in front. The filly Bonza Perla's coming, and Hitotsu. Light Sabre 100 to go. Hitotsu grinding it down. Light Sabre joined by Hitotsu. They're running off the track. Hitotsu just in front. Hitotsu a special win. Won by a nick. Light Sabre second. Bonza Perla third from Forgot You, followed by Captivant, and then Pinstripe, Maurice's Medad, Allegron, Ranchan, Pashiro. Sharp Response, Predeturn, Gap, Rhinoceros, Profondo, and at the end of the field was Zarel.
He's simply a horse that continues to defy history. Hitotsu, he won a VRC Derby at his 6th career start after winning a Donald Maiden over 1,350 metres 2 starts prior, and stepped from a Caulfield Guineas at 1,600 to be one of the more dominant Derby winners we've seen. And here today, in the history of this race that dates back to 1986, he's the first runner to return fresh and win the race, and the third horse to come off a Derby and win the Australian Guineas. The horse to do it previously was a champion in Mahogany in 1994. There's a bit of road in front of this horse to get to that Group 1 stage. Once again, what a training performance from Kieran Murray and Dave Eustace. What a ride from John Allen. In the end, he was the superior.
Race without incident. It was a horror watch for those on Pinstripe. A lot of interference out wide, but he just got a great run through on the eventual winner. You've got to have the cattle BZ, and that was a fantastic performance.
Well, you don't often see horses that draw barrier 1 win basically in the middle of the track, so it all opened up on the
see them have the success, particularly with Kieran and David, and Johnny Allen's given Hitotsu an absolute perler of a ride yesterday. It just showed the difference that barriers make. Profondo, he had to make a decision as to what to do to go forward from the wide gate. It didn't work out. He got trapped 4 wide, no cover with a genuine speed on. Hitotsu saved all the ground, produced late, just too strong. An amazing
build up, and you know, it had that feeling that we'll be watching this one for quite a bit to come, and history could be made, and it certainly was yesterday. Fantastic training effort, as has already been pointed out. But he's a special horse, isn't he? And you know, that's what can happen with records, etc. You know, you can break the records when you've got the talent, and Mar Eustace of bringing that.
Performance by Hitotsu, as we said, breaking all sorts of records in this race that was first run in 1986. He's the first horse to win the race fresh in a preparation, and he's the third horse joining Kings High and Mahogany in 1994 to win the race off a win in a Victoria Derby. And Hutch, you mentioned the use of John Allen, and Cuz, I think he touched on it as well. John Allen really took advantage.
Often get the plaudits. Let's talk about quickly a couple of others as well. Lightsaber, what a run from an interrupted prep. He's only just gone down as well. Pinstriped obviously was a horror watch for those who backed him, and clear excuses for Profondo. But yeah, Johnny Allen threw back the fence, and they all came off it and just kept inviting him to take the runs, and he basically said, thank you very much.
Let's enjoy Matt Hill's call of yesterday's Group 1 Australian.
4 and 5 deep, coming to the middle of the track, didn't handle the corner. They were followed by Ranch Hand, back to the inside. Hitotsu runs on, and Forgot You's coming through too. Lightsaber in front, led by a length. Bonza Perla is flashing down the outside with Hitotsu. It's Lightsaber just in front. The filly Bonza Perla's coming, and Hitotsu. Lightsaber 100 to go. Hitotsu grinding it down. Lightsaber joined by Hitotsu. They're running off the track. Hitotsu just in front. Hitotsu a special win. Won by a nick.
Yeah, it's great. Great to have Mum and Dad here. Gutted the boss isn't here, to be honest. He's up in Sydney, and we don't get to share many good wins, so yeah, it'd be nice if he's here, but it's great. I'm really proud of the whole team. They're all here. It's an awesome ride, and he's just a really good horse.
Dive out of the Hitotsu story and talk about Pinstripe. There was such huge build-up around Enver Yusufovic yesterday with his Group 1 opportunity with a horse that's made incredible progression from a Moe maiden to winning the CSAs, which has been the traditional lead-up and such a great pointer in recent years. It's probably a ride Michael D would like over. How could he have done it differently?
There's one that got away, if you ask me. It probably just came at a chance to be able to get on the backs of, like Hutch and I said yesterday, on the back of Cap Devon, but he seems to just sit there and let his horse drift out of the race. So he's in a position where, an unwinnable position, because the whole entire race, I could watch him, he's trying to get off the fence, off the fence. Well, go back to the inside and follow a horse like Yonce and that, because everyone was getting off the fence, gaps were opening on the inside, but he kept trying to get out. So it ended up going up the backhand of Profondo, not once, but twice. He did not even touch the horse with the whip and still run fifth. How this horse run fifth, I do not know. For me, it was one that got away. But there was a lot of...
Like Michael said, with all that interference, I mean, he's only clear with about 150 to go. Just light riding, has run fifth and was sort of making up a lot of ground. Now, he's been beaten 4 lengths the official margin. Does he win? Well, it's impossible to say. But look, he's interesting. He's right in the finish. It's a race, and they're talking about Hitotsu not going to the mile. What about another crack for the
Love to see Pinstripe in an all-star mile.
A wild card. All he had was a trial yesterday, more or less.
He came out of the race pretty well.
He never had a proper race and a hard race, so why not?
I'd love to see him in a Doncaster with absolutely no weight.
there.
He's a Group 1 horse for sure. Plenty more to dice.
Oh, look, he's a very good horse. To go, he went from a Donald Baden straight to the Caulfield Guineas, where he ran a bottler, and then he wins the Derby, third up, and here he is winning the Australian Guineas, first up on a track, you know, that he hadn't been on, a softish track, and he gets the job done. So there's a lot to like about him here. He's got more upside than most here. Like Sabre was very good, and the third horse has run well, Bonza Perla. Now have a look. I'll show you this other horse. It should have won. Pinstriped. It was unbeaten coming into this race. Look at this. He'd already been chopped out coming you know, before this, and then it just turns ugly. It gets worse. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And then you just watch this horse, the last 50 metres with no pressure. This is, I know he's a fit horse and he's up and running, but Michael D just sort of didn't really want him to run on here because it really shows up how far he should have won by. Look at him. Oh.
He's an awkward going horse, carries himself.
Yeah, he's an interesting horse. Yeah, he's an interesting horse. You say he was unbeaten coming into that race. So I know the others might have more fitness to come where he was up and running, but he's a good horse. And Profondo.
Bridge, second event from Randwick. Here's the Group 2 two-year-old fillies Riesling Stakes. It's at the 1,200 metres, and we'll follow this. Out to $4.80, and Ohai's firming to beat both of them. Number 2, Godolphin Colours, $10.
A golden slipper perspective, I'll make a mention on a few of them. So Russian Conquest is our second favourite in that, currently at $9, with Coolangatta at $4.
Gates are back. They're off and racing. Stuck in a Dream was last out of the barriers, and Grease being sent forward with 7 Vales, Dashing Legend, Oh Hi Handy. Russian Conquest drifts back to second last, and Stuck in a Dream. 7.50 to run. 7 Vales leads the way by a half length to Grease. Then came Oh Hi. A half the outside, Dashing Legend, who gets some cover here on the circular. Then Russian Conquest, the favourite on the outside of Stuck in a Dream. So 7 Vales races to the 600 metres by 3/4 of a length to Grease. Then Oh Hi in the gun position just behind. Dashing Legend just peeling deeper. Russian Conquest peeling to the outside. 7 Vales leads up the rise. Oh Hi comes off the fence to challenge. Not sure how well Grease is going. Russian Conquest is coming down the outside. Oh Hi really lays the challenge down to 7 Vales now. A length and a half away to Russian Conquest, but 7 Vales fended off Oh Hi. Dashing Legend, Russian Conquest. Wandering about a bit late, 7 Vales, but it has got them beaten. 7 Vales beat Dashing Legend, and a photo for third. Oh Hi and Russian Conquest, then Stuck in a Dream. And it was a bad dream if you're on Grease. She hasn't handled the conditions. She's finished last.
So, Lizzie, we won't be seeing Grease in the Golden Slipper, and in many ways it becomes murkier, I feel. I mean, that race that 7 Vales ran in, it looks a good form race, doesn't it?
Russian Conquest, we've got to be forgiving because of the conditions that we've got here today. That's as simple as that. But obviously they have to be on notice. I thought she was going to sprint quickly when she got to the outside.
Track, but she looked pretty good yesterday.
She did. Where are we with these 2-year-olds? I'm still way up in the air, and we don't know where we are with these. And now we've got a heavy track lead up, so all depends what sort of track we get on Slipper Day. But I must say, she's a promising filly on the improve. Is the Slipper too soon? I'm not sure. Showed a little bit of adaptability. Karen took the initiative, and when there was no speed in the race, he took up the running, and she showed good qualities. I really like this second filly, Dash and Legend. She's a quality filly. I'm not saying as far as the Slipper contender is concerned, but I mean, as a future performer, I think she's
done. Thank you.
So 7 Vales off to the Golden Slipper. Glenn Munsey, what happened? The Todd. OK, and they ran in the fillies division 1:13.41.
And that's always a really good sign from one preparation to the next. So here's the on-top selection. But if you're looking for a little bit of value, I thought...
For the Todman. Gates are back, they're off. Psychiatrist jumped well, so did Calgary Stampede underneath, but Psychiatrist is going to lead. Rich on quickly on the scene goes to third. Charlotte a bit closer in fourth. On the outside of Boyfriend, then Sabuco, the favourite Sajardana, and 2 lengths away, length off to Sabuco, who's railing through, a length then to Sajardana. Show caught 8 lengths off them last. Calgary Stampede in front, inside the 600 metres from Psychiatrist, then Rich on from Charlatan. Boyfriend off the fence, Sabuco trying to go through, Sajardan peeling deep, and Show Court is still back last. Calgary Stampede leads coming up the rise now from Psychiatrist, and Charlatan coming into the race. Rich on looking for a split. Then Boyfriend from Sir Jardin and Show Court straight in to make ground, looking for a better room. It's Calgary Stampede being joined by Charlatan. Then Boyfriend on the outside. Sir Jardin heading top gear now, and Sir Jardin races up to take the lead from Boyfriend. It's Sir Jardin ahead on Boyfriend. Sir Jardin too good. Sir Jardin won it by a long neck to Boyfriend, then Charlatan, and Show Court late on the scene. They were followed in then by Psychiatrist, giving ground from Calgary Stampede, Richon and Sabuco.
So well done to that Portelli team. So Jason Collett and Gary Portelli over the last 12 months, they're batting at 50% every time they team up here. So
yeah, and he's just cruising along. He's been qualified all the way through. It's a big advantage, isn't it, that goal, winning that golden gift or running second, because trainers can train their horses properly. And considering where he's come from and what happened during the day, and like Russian, the filly in the previous race, Russian Conquest, come in that position and she couldn't finish off, but he did, and he did it well. So he's going to present a very good a horse ready to win a slipper. Whether he's good enough, we'll find out. That's for sure. Boyfriend was okay. Charlatan, funny, everyone will drop off him now. He's still run well in a slipper. He went from a horse you couldn't get going to over racing and doing a few things wrong there. So Joe's still got a couple of weeks to sort him out. Now, here's one, Show Court. Now, this is the horse, one of the nicest horses all day.
Good run. Back to Charlatan. I wonder on the heavy going.
Who do you like, Ronnie? Who do you like, Corey? Have you got any firm opinion?
I actually really like Sir Jardin. I just thought his win.
Just don't get. Well, just because she hasn't run, that she's out to $5 now, Coolangatta. She was about $2.
Now, I've snuck down to get a good look at Nature Strip. He's back from Melbourne.
So the big match race is coming up here. We've got 4 to line up in the Highland Race Colours Challenge Stakes, and 2 dominate here, of course, Nature Strip and Eduardo. And
We do have something else to let you know about. Forbidden Love, if you're a fan of the...
Nature Strip is odds on and the gates open. He's jumped only fairly today, Nature Strip. And Eduardo's landed the first blow, landing straight in the lead. And now Nature Strip rolls into second in front of Shelby 66 and Splintex is last. Eduardo's going to hold the lead comfortably today by 2 lengths on Nature Strip. Is happy to park in that position. Clear from Shelby 66 and Splintex is last. Last year's winner Eduardo leads approaching the corner, and he's in front of Nature Strip in this year's edition. Nash has got a good grip on Eduardo as they turn for home by 2 lengths on Nature Strip, and already the 2 great sprinters are broken clear of the rest. Eduardo going great guns at the 300 metres. Now McDonald starts to push the button on Nature Strip, 3/4 of a length away. Eduardo's got plenty of gas in the tank, and Eddie's still running at the 100. Nature Strip's got the job to get there. Shelby 66 is running into second. Charging home, Eduardo in front, clings on, Eduardo just, but Shelby 66 nearly knocked the grandstand over. What a run in second, getting past Nature Strip, and Splintex was 4th in.
Egg on everybody's face. Well, I've got plenty of egg on my face right now. Forget the 22,500. Anyway, Eduardo, what a win. Joe Pry wins his 5th challenge. Just frame that. Eduardo, Shelby. Yeah, I agree, young fella. Did that really happen? 2
Nature Strip, and the fit horse on the back up, who we all thought had no chance of getting within 5, 6 or 7 lengths of him, nearly caused a Dandy Andy-like performance there.
9 times they've met. Nature Strip holds the advantage 5-4. 5-4. He's still got one up on Eduardo, but Eduardo...
It was an epic contest again, and just so happy to see him win another group race.
What's the plan now, Joe?
4 weeks to the TJ,
Stakes. Now let's pick up the replay, Duff and Corey, and obviously Shelby 66 was never going to beat Eduardo. The race was all over when he lunged, but didn't he add a huge highlight to the day?
Yeah, incredible what he did, and obviously this is the only probably race of the day they went out very hard, and that was Nash's plan, and it worked. You know, it worked to bust up Nature Strip, but it nearly fell to pieces because the horse is doing no work out the back. Well, the horse doing, a 200 to 1 chance here. Well, who would have thought this could happen? But they're out on their feet now, and on a heavy 10, they've gone out hard. So what do we say? I think Joe was a little bit standoffish. He sounded like he was a little bit upset with the ride, but in theory, it was the right tactic.
It's a fine line too with that horse, Eduardo. He looked the best out of all of them. You know, I know he's deeper into his preparation, but he looked amazing in the yard yesterday.
Well, he won the highway last week, and before that he hadn't won for 600 and something days. So I don't know what happened there, but well, maybe we can give him a slot. I don't know. But he did beat Nature Strip. He can put that on his CV now.
Yeah.
But
Joe wants to win a TJ and an Everest with Eduardo before he retires. I think Joe's got plans to see Eduardo contesting maybe at least the next 2 TJs and the next 2 Everests if he's still in one piece, and by all accounts he's going to be. Nature Strip is the favourite for the Everest at $7. Smith, now we know each. The TJ Smith, now we know Nature Strip, this is his race. He's going for 3 in a row and we know he will bounce back. He's a $3.50 chance in the TJ Smith. Eduardo is at $4.50. Home Affairs is at $6, $8 for Masked Crusaders.
In front of Annabelle Neesham's imported galloper, Laws of Indices. He's a 4-year-old Entire.
Group 1 Canterbury Stakes. 1,300 metres at weight for age. This mounting out is brought to you by Harvey Norman for all you need in fern.
For age, Group 1 at the 1,300 metres for Bidden Love on a 7-day backup.
Well, she is that. She was a trial star, wasn't she, before beating Home Animo first up. Then.
And they're off now in the Group 1. The Laws of Indices missed the start, and Wild Punted's back with it. The favourite jump Best Forbidden Love with Dice Roll away well into second, followed by Colding up there, and Lighthouse will park in 4th. Couple of them, Private Eye, and 2 lengths to Wild Punted. 600 to go, and Forbidden Love in front by a half to Dice Roll being revved up. Lighthouse is pulling out now, well before the turn, then Colding. A couple off to Special Award from Dallison. Laws of Indices and Private Eye starting the run from well back. It's Forbidden Love being cuddled at the 300 metres. Lighthouse is flat out sticking on in second, and they're well clear from the rest. Private Eye's coming with a good run down the outside. It's Forbidden Love in front, holding Lighthouse inside the 150. Private Eye third, but Forbidden Love's going great guns on the quick backup, and she wins another Group 1 today. Forbidden Love by 2 lengths to Lighthouse, 2.5 off to Private Eye third, followed by Colding, Special Award, then came Dallison. Further back to Wild Planet, Laws of Indices, and Dice Roll weakened out to finish last.
Well, she's getting better and better. She's so good on rain-affected ground, this filly. She's outstanding. 5 starts, 4 wins on heavy tracks. We know a couple of the parts.
Planning on running Forbidden Love in the Canterbury Stakes, but a little bit of a think about the weather forecast, a mare on the back up, and about 6 days ago, this plan was hatched.
Yeah, it was a stroke of genius with the foresight of nominating and then realising that a lot of these horses mightn't run. And it was a gift. She was on a backup off a heavy 10 win. And, boy, after 100 metres, Corey, this race was pretty well never in doubt.
Yeah, Huey just controlled the race up front. But she had such a soft win the week before. I wasn't surprised to see a sprint again on that sort of soft going. It was obviously a different.
Where the back markers had none there. Once Huey controlled that speed, they were never going to get into that race, and that was proven there with Lighthouse, brave and honest. Still, Private Eye was very good because he did come from a little bit back in the field, which was very hard to do there. So that's a lovely return from him, and even Cold.
I think he came through the run beautifully, and it's a good. He's got that match fitness on his side now. Not to mention the class that he's got, having been a 2-time Group 1 winner already.
And runner-up in the Cox Plate went so desperately close. It was rated, we were just chatting before us.
Going to be too worried about withdrawing him on a wet track, but he still needs to go out there and do it, and he needs to prove that he's taken the right steps since winning the Hobartville against, largely the same horses. So for him to be the horse to beat in the Randwick Guineas.
Group 1, Moston Copper, Randwick Guineas over the mile. The 3-year-olds are in the yard, and this man...
And Converge. Mr. Gately off his Hobartville Stakes win at Rose Hill comes Animo.
And the gates are back, they're off, and there's a starter's dream out of the barriers. Converge jumped really well today with Military Expert. Coast Watch is handy, and Halal's going to take a very prominent role on the fence. Raging Bull out deep, pressing on. Then came War Eternal from Sea Treasures. Animo settles third last on the outside of Sinbar. The short favourite Animo second last, and 2 after Royal Zell, who'd be a dozen lengths off the front runner, which is Military Expert at the 800 metres by 3/4 to Raging Bull. Halal given every hope third from Coast Watch, 2 further back, then 2 Converge, who's got plenty of room in front and behind. War Eternal on his hammer, followed by Sea Treasures, then Sinbar. Animo still in a rearward position, but McDonald pulls free wide now at the 600 metres, and Royal Zella's last. It's Military Expert really being eyeballed by Raging Bull now as they come to the turn. Coast Watch moving up, and Converge to the outside. Halal tucked away on the inside, and 3 further back to Animo. Military Expert leads the way from Converge, who strides up on the outside. Then came Halal, 2 after Animo. Converge has made the move at the 200 and going strongly. Converge 2 in front from Animo and Halal. Converge a length clear from Animo. Converge kept going. Animo will make one last lunge, but Converge goes on to win the round with Guineas by a half length to Animo. Halal in third, War Eternal fourth, followed by Raging Bull, Military Expert, then Coast Watch from Sinbar, Sea Treasures and Royal Zell.
So son of Frankelay, Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. So Converge, you won the Atkins as a 2-year-old, and you could see Adrian there and all the congratulations. It was a brilliant ride by Tim Clark. He put him in a Animo. We talked about this, Lizzie, didn't we? That he often gets himself into difficult positions. It was still a great run, but it was another second in the Group 1.
Yeah, just it.
Prior to forming that partnership, Converge beats Animo in a Randwick Guineas thriller. Halal has run third, so the Hobart...
Every possible War Eternal's an improver, but one...
We see out a Derby trip as well. He's just got too much class, but discuss it with the connections.
And there's plenty to talk about here as well. This is a beautiful ride. He's got so much confidence in this horse, Timmy Clark. He loves him and knows him well now, and look at him here. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, and away he goes. And he does just have that 200-metre sprint that can put him away. And, yeah, what is he? I don't know what he is. He might be the Doncaster horse, 49.5.
Yeah.
As you'd like to be riding in your days, the old 49.5 again. And
you struggle to get down here now. But I do think the ride won the race, Ronnie. Like he made him work to get up over, then he took the sit and dragged back. Didn't take the speed out of the race, but just the confidence that he has in the horse, the cheeky little look that he had. He knew he'd be coming Animo, but he was too good on the day.
Now, Animo, his run was superb when you analyse everything, sectionals. He just doesn't have the adaptability of the winner. And I thought he... When we get to the Rosehill Guineas with Animo, I think he's a huge yard watch. I thought the presentation of him would be much better yesterday, just knocked about things pre-race. There's nothing wrong with his performances, and he's still probably the horse to beat in the Rosehill Guineas. But I will say, he is a big yard watch come Rosehill Guineas Day, because his antics aren't helping him at the moment.
And I spoke to...
Happy with the way the preparations are.
Might be the Rosehill Guineas next start. Animo's the $4 favourite for the Rosehill Guineas. Converges at $4.50. Hitotsu's at $5. Now, if they would go down the Derby path, Hitotsu, this next horse we're going to see, is the Derby favourite over Converge. And if he was to go, say, a Rider or into a Doncaster or a Rosehill Guineas back to a Doncaster, he's a $6 favourite in the Doncaster. Converge.
I can understand that. I think
on a heavy track was excellent. It was the best race on the card.
It's a wide open 153rd size produce. Hutch?
That it is. Yeah, it's an interesting race, that's for sure.
Riding and so well. So Sir Bailey came out on top for me. I thought it was going to be Let's Roll the Dice. Saw him a lot.
You there, Charlotte. Let's Roll the Dice, though, as I mentioned early doors. Huge support on race day here, and looks to get a real nice map too from gate 9. Can just fin in, blend in from that mid barrier. So clearly the best back them will be your market mover. I'll go early 4-6. Let's Roll the Dice.
Stalls are back and they're away. Pretty good line away too. Jamara the best best to begin, with also Bess Marty, who's going to stride up and take the lead from Jamara Duat-La out deeper on the track, and also Yaka Ishi is pushing forward in the early part of the race. Next in the field, one off the fence, Man in the Mirror, then Sir Bailey, who's about 7th or 8th on the inside. Our deeper Merchant Prince, Queen Latifah, Let's Roll the Dice, and they were followed by Sumatra. Well back is Brosnan, and then came Nobel, and 2 further back at the tail of the field, settling down Bon Hur at the back. So Yaka Ishi is the front runner at the 800 metres by 3/4 of a length to Duat-La. A length and a quarter, Bess Marty third, the inside from Man in the Mirror, and out 3 wide on the track then is Merchant Prince. Next in the field, Jamara, Queen Latifah, Let's Roll the Dice. Sir Bailey's bailed away on the inside. Further back in the field then is Brosnan around the turn. Well back Sumatra and also Bon Hur. So it's Yaka Ishi the first to straighten from Duat-La. Bess Marty the inside. Then came Man in the Mirror out deeper. Further back in the field then out deeper Merchant Prince. Let's Roll the Dice trying to wind up, and Brosnan the grey is coming through between horses. Yaka Ishi as they reach the 200 metres under pressure. Man in the Mirror's just about got it. Let's Roll the Dice is stomping up as well. Let's Roll the Dice moves up, takes the lead from Yaka Ishi running a race. Then Man in the Mirror. Let's Roll the Dice. Let's Roll the Dice won the sires from Man in the Mirror. Photo third, Yaka Ishi or Brosnan, and back behind them Bess Marty. Then Duat-La, Queen Latifah, Merchant Prince, Sumatra. Sir Bailey, I'm not sure how much room it had in the straight from Jamara, Bon Hur, and well back in the field Nobel amongst the tail enders.
So it's Let's Roll the Dice getting it done for Damien Lane, Danny O'Brien, and everyone who supported this.
Break in came through our system. Obviously a done deal that we were never going to push pre-Christmas, but had a trial or 2 in January, and then
1,400 metres in Let's Roll the Dice, who surfed off the back of the tempo, set by eventual third place getter Yaka Ishi, justifying his market support. Harch off his 3.5 length win on debut at Bendigo on a heavy surface some 11 days earlier. Man in the Mirror for J Mac and Annabelle Neesham second after a 6th in the Skyline, and Brosnan was 4th, who was 5th in the Skyline.
I think this is a race that you need to watch a few times. It was sort of not messy, but there were some good runs that from horses that didn't probably have the clearest passage. I'm a big fan of the winner. I really like Let's Roll the Dice. There wasn't a heck of a lot of speed after being slow away. Got a lovely ride in a good.
No doubt about that. I mean, for a done deal to be doing this over 1,400 metres at his second start, he's got serious upside. This is probably, Danny O'Brien's Derby horse for the spring, but this is a bonus on the way through as a colt winning a Group 2 race and put them away nicely.
And you got the slipper next week with Coolangatta going in his favourite, but without a really clearly defined lead-up run. So the flow-on effect then, you'd imagine, to races like the Sires and the Champagne, Magic getting rolled in Sydney in one of the lead-ups yesterday as well. Those 2 Group 1s are pretty wide open.
That they are. I mean, when I go...
Used for Sir Bailey, I mean, it was just...
Yeah.
It was the...
Correct.
It got some backwash and just had no joy in the straights. I think you can just put an excuse next to that and say, next start, 1,400 metres, 1,600 metres, it'll be competitive.
The other race for the 2...
Let's have a look at the 3-year-old fillies now, and the market's suggesting that Argentia will run a strong mile, third up here at Flemington, because she has had the best support on race day. 290.
Fillies in this race, and I can't wait for it. Artika for me, I just thought that win carrying 62. I know it was an easier level, but what she's done...
Past Argentia, but she was just getting a little bit warm, and I know that's a bit customary, but for me I had to put Yearning on top today. Yearning just had a lot...
Race day, though, clearly the best back going into this, but Yearning, Charlotte, your pick of the yard, she is rock solid here, gets the run of the race drawn form, will be given every possible chance.
Ready, and away they go. Pretty good line too. Yearning jumped well. Stray wants the front and found it with Artika. Yearning behind them and Lavish Girl, and Barb Raiders also storming up out deeper. They were followed in midfield by Hardly Sweet Argentia, Biscayne Bay, Mockalure, and So You See is last. Lavish Girl has stacked them right up. Led Barb Raider, and then came Stray the inner. Artika 3 wide, a length and a half off the pace. Then Hardly Sweet and Yearning pulling to the outside 4 deep. Argentia will have to go around her, around the final corner. They were followed by Mokalua and So You See. They run for the money. 450 out. It's Lavish Girl just in front of Barbreda. It's going to be a dash home. A length and a quarter away. Yearning Stray the inside. Then Argentia 3 off the lead. Further back Mokalua and So You See trying to bullock into the clear. Lavish Girl joined by Barbreda at the 200 metres. Barbreda and Lavish Girl. Barbreda just in front. Argentia is still coming. Argentia coming at Barbreda. 50 to go. Barbreda. Argentia's coming out. They hit the line. Barbreda just beat Argentia. Third of photo. Mokalura, So You See. Then behind those horses, Hardly Sweet with Biscayne Bay. Yearning Lavish Girl. And behind those horses then Stray and a long last Artica.
Craig Williams goes back-to-back in the Cooney, and Barbreda continues the wonderful run for Jerome Hunter here with this superb filly. And we wonder what beckons now, perhaps. He said it was Judgment Day pre-race. Well, judgment justified, and maybe she is heading.
Wasn't it? Never didn't look like there was much pace on paper here, and I think great ride from Craig Williams. He was happy to go forward from the wide gate, sat outside the letter, and yeah, well done to Craig. I mean, he's obviously
absolutely not a lot of speed on here halfway. The horse to look at is in the orange at the back. So You See, never had a clear passage for the last 250 metres. Only her second race start. What a performance! In fact, Argentia is the other one that is going to cause a lot of discussion as well. As I mentioned, not a lot of speed. Still
second start in the race, So You See he's going to be better suited by a stronger tempo too.
You've got to give full credit to Craig Williams here, because he's drawn the widest, and he was positive to sit outside the leader. They got some soft mid-race sectionals, but this filly's gone to another level, this preparation. You know, as was touched on when she won her previous start, I think she's matured, she's strengthened. Whether she gets to 2,000 metres, I don't know, but she's absolutely flying this time in.
That's the thing. Maybe the miles they go. Maybe floating 10 mile. Yeah. Maybe that's her sweet spot. I'm not sure. I mean, Argentia is very good. I think it can be firmed one way compared to a couple of the others.
Arctica in the Maccabi colours was out the back. Cardiac Arrhythmia, and also Yearning, the Guineas winner, EIPH. So a little bit to come out of that race yesterday.
$18 to 15. Quantico first up. Levante for Michael D and the Kiwis out to 19. Opening price to 18. And looking down the page, there's not too many roughies that have really been crunched out late here. So the top two in the market dominating, and Masked Crusader nice and safe.
Of the Newmarket handicap, the 149th running recent winners including Bivouac, Sunlight, Redkirk Warrior back-to-back, the quarterback, Brazen Bow, Lankan Rupee, Sham Express, Haylist, the Great Black Caviar and Wanted. Who is on top in 2022, Hutch?
Yeah, it's a very deep race. Home Affairs, I'll stick with the young colt. He's been...
sort of say I'm going against Home Affairs by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think at the price, I'm happy to have Swats that on
tough mounting yard to assess. We have got some exceptional quality in this yard today, and Home Affairs topped them. Simply, he looked out.
Favourite Charlotte's pick of the yard, Home Affairs, $3.90, and he does hold more money than any other runner, but the big bets late today on track here come through with sports bet punters for Lost and Running. So really good support for Lost and Running against the favourite Home Affairs. And to be honest, these
gates are back and they're away. Rockin' Horse over towards the far side, got a little bit of a brush from the Astrologer. September run out fast with also Swats that in the early part, and it looks as though they're going to split. They are. So it's Finance Tycoon over on the far side leading the Astrologer. September run, Swats that, Rockin' Horse and Zutori. Over on the near side, the 3-year-old Home Affairs led the way by a length and a quarter. Oxley Road, Lost and Running, Snap Dancer, Poland. They were followed by Quantico and Counter Rupee from Helvorce and Masked Crusader. Well back in the field, Levante and also Artorius in two groups at the 600 metres. Over on the far side, Finance Tycoon led by a length and a half, the Astrologist, and then September run under pressure from Rockin' Horse and Swats that on the near side. It's Home Affairs held together, led by a length and a half to Lost and Running under the whip. Then Snap Dancer, Counter Rupee, Levante, and further back is Poland as they reach the clock tower. Over on the far side, Rockin' Horse, the Astrologist together with September run on the near side. Levante led them, but it's over on the far side. Rockin' Horse in front. It's going to be an absolute boil-over. Rockin' Horse won the Newmarket from the Astrologer's September run, and then for fourth, Swats that's there with Artorius, Levante. away. Next in the field, Zutori, then Home Affairs, Masked Crusader, Finance Tycoon, Poland Snap Dancer, well back Quantico, Helvorsen, Lost and running under pressure a long way from home, Oxley Road and Count to Rupee.
Well, it was all about the runners on the inside. What a massive boil over, but what a moment for Patrick Maloney, who grabs a Group 1 victory in the Newmarket aboard Rockin' Horse, this flying Kiwi mare at cricket score odds, defeating the astrologist September Run, who was beaten as a $2.80 favourite in the race last year. She pays double, nearly 3 times that for third place, with Levante rounding out first and fourth from a New Zealand mare's point of view. And Patrick Maloney, he is electric going across the line, a guttural roar as he grabs his first Group 1 race with Rocket.
Memorable win there to Paddy Maloney. Well done to him. He is ecstatic, and so he should be. And there's going to be a lot of talking points out of this race. All of the first 3 past the post, all down on the inside, obviously. If you've got the trifecta that way. But a great performance, and the Kiwis have come and done well.
Michael, what about that celebration from Patrick Maloney? He might get a tap on the shoulder from the stewards, but he'd be happy to pay you the fine.
You would not care. He deserves it since he's come back from Singapore with the way he had to come home.
Levante, that Kiwi form has worked out to be the right form for this race. Obviously, the inside part of the track, it was favourable, but that form has stuck up very well for this race.
And another horse who was charging down the outside was Artorius, and had drawn barrier 2. Craig Newitt sort of made the decision.
Paddy Maloney, what an incredible story. The Rockin' Horse story's got so many elements to it, but the Paddy Maloney part of it, as Matt touched on, breaking through for his first Group 1 win. And this has been a theme of the last 6 months here in Victoria, where we've seen a lot of hard-working jocks break their duck at the highest level.
Exactly, yeah, going back over the spring. I know that they all went here, but Daniel Moore, we had Ben Allen recently. And just Paddy Maloney, obviously from a racing family as well, and you know, hearing...
I think we're still trying to process it. Rockin' Horse, the longest price winner of the Newmarket in its 149 years. Better Beyond at 66 to 1 in 1979, the previous longest price winner. Was a luckless 7th behind Entrevier and Levante in the Railway in New Zealand on New Year's Day, then flew home to lose a bob of the head a fortnight later in the fast edition of the Telegraph to Levante, who was 4th here and the best on the grandstand side hutch.
Yeah, well, the action was on the inside, or the far side, and, well, they burnt early. I mean, the closing sections were late, so this was a sprint where they really put the foot down, and 2 separate races, obviously, and it was the far side that came out on top.
Tycoon led by a length and a half. The Australia together led by a length and a half to Lost and running under the whip. Then Snap Dancer, Count to Rupee, Levante, and further back is Poland as they reach the clock tower over on the far side. Rockin' Horse, the astrologist, together with September Run on the near side. Levante led them, but it's over on the far side. Rockin' Horse in front. It's going to be an absolute boil-over.
Matt Hill, how you call 2 races in one, I just do not know. What does a Newmarket like to call in those situations where they split?
Well, the thing about them splitting is you do have to call 2 separate races, but you always think the outside's going to be up there somewhere, even though the angle is quite tricky. But they just didn't come on yesterday. It was all over on the far side and misses a start. They go, and firstly, there's a lot to dissect out of the race, isn't there? I mean, Artorius misses a start. That goes towards the outside. There's some rhetoric around saying that you know, he should have stayed where he was, which is ridiculous, because all the main chances seem to be on you know, towards the outside. And I think their tactics pre-race were more than understandable.
Absolutely reasonable. Yeah. And no doubt all the jockeys have walked the track prior to the race. So for Artorius to edge towards the middle of the track, I mean, that was a perfect pre-race plan. You know, the way the race unfolded.
In required, and the fact that then he's drawn 2, and we can see the vision here of the beginning. You can see him put the blinker on and start to move across in the yellow cap at the back. The fact that gates 3 and 4 end up running the Quinella at the prices they were is simply remarkable.
But the horses down on the inside were ridden with intent.
But we've underestimated the Kiwi form. Levante has beaten all of the horses on this side, and obviously Rockin' Horse on the far side. So, you know, the New Zealand form proved to be the right form, which and a very deserving win. Obviously, the way the race has worked out, the inside's been better, but both Levante, Artorius, they have similar splits home. I met one of the owners yesterday from Artorius. He asked me to be a little nicer to him, so I will. Lovely horse, Artorius. But he's got to learn to jump. That's what he's going to need to have to learn to do.
Paddy, footage just quickly before we get to the break of Katrina Williams from Little Avondale Stud, who has been wheelchair bound for the best part of 20 years after an incident. A huge effort to get to the races yesterday, but huge for them. They stand Pierre and Canto, the sire of Rockin' Horse, who was also the sire of Lost and Running, so they were perhaps expecting yesterday that they were going to get a real boost from perhaps Lost and running the race we were perhaps expecting, but instead they get a tremendous boost out of a horse they own. They sent to the Caracas sale some 4 years ago. He was passed in for $40,000 and he's now won a Newmarket in their colours.
Remarkable story, and it was great.
Well, there was obviously they got it wrong. Everyone was thinking down the middle, which can happen at Flemington. Yep. And then all what you do is all the long shots try the inside and hope for a break. It's happened before. Yeah. It'll happen again. And when 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line at the SP profile that they had, it has to tell you something.
Yeah, it was like a travelator over on the inside. Fast ground, that's where you needed to be, simply.
Yeah, simple as that. 100 to 1 chance. But well performed a mare, I must say, and the Kiwis really run well there, first and fourth or fifth.
$126 for the win. Was played $7 a place. The Quinella paid $2,600. What did the trifecta pay? $93,000 in New South Wales. The first four, $140,000, and the jackpot included. There's the market for the TJ Smith Stakes. Nature Strip still at top of the market at $350 in front of Eduardo and Homer.
Here we go. Let's have a look at the Australia Cup, folks. And no scratchings, which is great. Think it over. It's great to have him here in Sydney. And he opened up at $3 mark. He dropped into $2.70 today, back out to $3, but 50% of turnover. He's dominating the hold with Sportsbet. Spanish Mission, well, he's up to the mile into $657. D. Oliver, he'll sit back and stalk them and have the last crack. Or will it be Jewis, the 4-year-old mare? She's good at a mile and a quarter, possesses the turn of foot. Could she round him up? That price went $10 into 7. She's
those horses just in front. We've seen him be powerful at the finish here at Flemington in the past, and I think he's a terrific price at $7.50.
I've gone very left field here. Obviously, I haven't looked at the market, but Surprise Baby was a big standout for me today. Huge improvement. Best I've seen this horse Parade.
On to favouritism at $3. Spanish Mission now, folks. The punters are really starting to rally around him. So $4.40, and he's starting to tighten right up into $3.60.
Northerly, Saintly, go right through there. There's some outstanding horses.
You think Ed Cummings can win it this year with Duis, who's coming off one of the best groups?
Jump from Barry, Signal, and they're racing. She's Ideal, slow to begin, Mr. 2 lengths. Ho Ho Khan going back with Jewis and Surprise Baby. Yonkers jump quickly with also Spanish Mission, Call Sign Mav deeper. Delphi the inside, just holding its position for the moment, and also Think It Over. So they complete 350 metres off the rail. Spanish Mission from Yonkers and Call Sign Mav. Delphi the inside. They were followed by Steels at Chiquita Lodge. 1,200 metres to go, steadily working over. Spanish Mission wants the front, and now Yonkers lets it go. Spanish Mission is the new leader. By a length, Call Sign Mav, and they were followed by Yonkers, third, a length Delphi, 2 lengths away Steel Prince, 3 lengths Think It Over. Would be enjoying the speed at this stage. A length and a half Maximal Cascadian at the 1,000. A length and a quarter Jewis, Surprise Baby, Ho Ho Khan, and She's Ideal at the end of the field. Spanish Mission kept them running. Call Sign Mav a neck away at the 800. A length and a quarter Yonkers, third, the inner, followed by Delphi, and Steel Prince is only 4 off the lead and 1 off the fence. 2 for the backers, Think It Over. Then Cascadian, Maximal from Surprise Baby, Jewis, well back She's Ideal, and Ho Ho Khan. They come around the corner in the Australian Cup, and the leader Spanish Mission clicked up and led by a length and a quarter. Call Sign Mav chasing. 2 further back, Delphi, Yonkers, Cascadian back to the inside. Think It Over hooks out wide. Jewis running on. Spanish Mission, 300 metres to go, led by a length and a half to Call Sign Mav. Cascadian, here come the swoopers. Think It Over and Jewis are coming together. Spanish Mission, 100 to go. Jewis is wearing it down. Jewis takes the lead. Jewis for Josh Parr won the Australian Cup, won it easily. Jewis from Think It Over, Spanish Mission, Ho Ho Khan. They were followed by Cascadian, Yonkers, Surprise Baby, Call Sign Mav, Steel Prince, She's Ideal, Maximal, and Delphi amongst the tail enders.
It's a super Saturday of fairy tales as Jewis for Ed Cummings and Josh Parr take out the 160th Australian Cup popping some big Group 1 bubbles in Think It Over and Spanish Mission, with Ho Khan coming off a Hobart and Launceston Cup preparation, running into fourth. But what a moment. Josh Parr, 2 winners.
Wasn't she in the Chipping Norton, and
3 and 4 in the Australian Cup.
Completely luckless, wasn't she, in the Chipping Norton? And yeah, well, she got the race run to suit today as well. There was good speed. Spanish Mission made it a test. Think It Over was brave, but in the end, Michael, a patient ride, emotional win there for Josh.
Metres, $1.5 million on the line, and it was Jewess adding the Australian Cup to her Queensland Oaks victory of last year. She's third up after running the best last 600 in the Apollo behind Think It Over, who of course runs second here as favourite, and then that very fast closing sixth behind Very Elegant in the Chipping Norton.
This was an unbelievable win, really, given what transpired. I mean, when you take into account what Jewess has managed to do off this strong speed, and they were humming along. It was ranked 1 by Daily Sectionals. The race, Spanish Mission was made to work. He wanted to make it a staying test, and Jewess, as you can see, 4th last at the moment. But off this strong speed, and you've got to be an exceptional horse to do this, particularly on a day where we had some handy sprinters, she's run the 8th best final 200 at the whole meeting. I think we, well, not unearthed a star, but she is obviously something pretty special, and I think they can set their sights very, very high.
So octagonally not.
Delphi Yonkers, Cascadian back to the inside. Think It Over, hooks out wide. Jewess running on. Spanish Mission, 300 metres to go, led by a length and a half to Call Sign Mav. Cascadian, here come the swoopers. Think It Over and Jewess are coming together. Spanish Mission, 100 to go. Jewess is wearing it down. Jewess takes the lead. Jewess for Josh Parr, won the Australian Cup, won it easily. Jewess from...
There was a margin on the line for Jewess and Josh Parr, who joins us.
Think It Over was good.
And he's been a benchmark horse, Think It Over, in Sydney. So to do what she did to Think It Over and was drawing away on the line, that was a super impressive win. But I do think the tempo in the race really assisted her, because if it was a slowly run race, and as we found out in the Caulfield Cup, she over-raced and didn't finish the race off. She needs a genuine tempo, and she can reel off extremely fast sectionals at the back end of a strong tempo. Yeah, well, not many horses can do that.
We hope we don't get any more of those slowly run races. Right? But look, a special mention to Ho Khan. This is some sort of run from Ho Khan. It was only her last. I'm sorry, his last 200 was only 0.06 slower than the winner, and he's definitely better over a mile and a half. There's not a lot of him. He's a small horse, but in the right race, I think he's another one that could be worth following.
Are we not paying enough credit to the horse that ran third either? It was only nabbed with about 80 metres to go. Jewess levelled up. It was a terrific run.
Yeah. Probably just went a little bit hard out in front, I would have thought, but a super run from Spanish Mission, and when it gets out over a mile and a half and beyond.
But was the thought, do you think, that being an elite stayer, that he could just pound them into the ground?
Probably. I think that was the intent. Certainly ridden with that intention to make it a really strong tempo, because I don't think he's a sit sprint horse.
No, I think sort of that pre-game plan, it looks like that's what they were thinking, but it's sort of almost, they might have had to reassess, because they made him work a little bit early in that first 400 or 500, and then he's stepped it up again sort of mid-race, and maybe if he just had a slightly softer time, those tactics would have been great.
Yep.
Picking it up, 1,000 out or whatever, but great run Spanish Mission. He's another one that's he's going to have a good race in his keeping somewhere along the line as well.
13 times. Edward is now on the board with Jewess.
Yeah, and he just picked the right race for her here. She's been flying in Sydney. She's just been beautifully presented, beautifully trained by Ed. And I read some stats that even though he's got 12 to catch Bart, his great-grandfather Jim ran third in this race in the early 30s. I think his father Anthony's been placed in the Australian Cup. His brother James has been placed in the Australian Cup. The whole family, it's been a race that they've contested, and, well, he's running second.
Well, she's $18 for the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, with Very Elegant atop that market on day 2 of the championships. We've got Animo.
Changed too much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Will the slipper picture become any more clearer after the Celebrations Magic Night Stakes? The winner of this race, exempt from...
Go again. Just waiting for the all clear. Now. Gates are back. They're off and racing, and Swift Sweet jumped really well, and Clipperton gives her a dig in the ribs. Celestial Spirit's going through. Winner Takes It All pushing through in the middle, so Swift Sweet just eased back a fraction, and Magic Carpet goes up the inside. Miss Fabergé's pushing through into a very good position, keeping Swift Sweet 3 wide and back to 5th now. They're followed further back by Siriu, who's taken a spot down on the rails. From She's Extreme, it gets across, one off the fence. Celestial Spirit held the front from Winner Takes It All, a half length away, followed by Miss Fabergé at the centre. Swift Sweet out 3 wide. Magic Carpet 5th, the rails. Then came Siriu from She's Extreme, coming a bit wider. In fact, they all come wide. Well off the fence, they straighten up now. Winner Takes It All makes the move now, got to a narrow lead from Celestial Spirit. Swift Sweet is closing in. She's Extreme winding up on the outside, and then came Miss Fabergé. They're right across the track, and She's Extreme letting down hard now. And the favourite moved up to take the lead away from Magic Carpet, and then Swift Sweet, and She's Extreme pushed out by Berry, goes home best, won it by a length and a half. Second Magic Carpet, a gap back to Swift Sweet. The Miss Fabergé followed by Yankee Hustler, a gap back to Winner Takes It All. Celestial Spirit Fun Sunday, Regal Inheritance with minor headway at the end from Atuana, and Siriu was last in.
Good strong win, wasn't it? She was powerful at the end. Magic Carpet, he almost got 4, James, so it's a father-son quinella there, Anthony Cummings and also Joe.
Day for the Cummings family yesterday. Son Edward won the Australian Cup with Duis. Father Anthony got one into the Golden Slipper with She's Extreme. We also saw a win by Gay Waterhouse Adrian Bott-trained colt Rise of the Masses. It wouldn't be a slipper without Gay, and of course Adrian's tasted success. Puts herself into the Golden Slipper after this wet track win 7 days out.
Yeah, and it mightn't be a bad combination either. If we do get these drizzling couple of mils every day this week, it just sets up for a backup horse, which we saw a lot of horses with recent runs win yesterday, and which we need on these real testing tracks. It's going to be very hard for the first uppers and the horses with a break between runs. And this filly has put a name up, and she's run the time, Corey. There's something to like about her.
I thought it was a gun ride too. I know she ran a full second quicker than the colts and geldings, but just the way she attacked the line on that going, I thought it was super.
And she's sort of the
favourite for the Pago, which is due in 12 minutes from now. He's $2.40 on the NOP. He did touch odds on this morning. Don't let that put you off. She's Extreme got to $2 and jumped $3.50. Magic's a $2.50 chance with Tab, $2.40 on the NOP. Sweet
home, and then absolutely flew home 34.6, last 600 off that good speed. And that was a...
If he... In the Golden Slipper field and the gates open, there's a beautiful line out. Sweet Ride and Nipotino jump well, and Rise of the Masses is spearing through the middle. The favourite Magic's up running a handy 4th in front of Peace Officer. Then Wealthy and 2 lengths to Cote last. They link up with the course proper. Rise of the Masses held together at the 600 by 3/4 on Nipotino. Then Sweet Ride leaders back half the outside to Magic, and going through the middle is Peace Officer, and all of a sudden Williamsburg has come from last. This is some ride here by Brenton Abdullah. He's come from well back and gone right up the inside. Rise of the Masses at the 300 in front from Sweet Ride Nipotino. Williamsburg can't sustain the run. Magic 2 lengths off the lead, and Pike gives the favourite the cue, but he's still got chasing to do. Rise of the Masses from Sweet Ride. Rise of the Masses just in front. Sweet Ride strong the inside. Rise of the Masses lifting and wins. Rise of the Masses was able to fend off Sweet Ride to win it. Photo for 3rd Magic, and Williamsburg got his 2nd win again. Further back to Peace Officer, Cote, Wealthy Investor and Nipotino.
So, gee, he was strong late, wasn't he? So Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott get their Golden Slipper runner. He fought off Sweet Ride, who looked like he might get...
Myler, Williamsburg later on, next preparation. Good tough horse. Don't know whether he can win a slipper, but strong. Yeah, look, just a good tough tradesman-like performance. That's the type of horse he is, and you never underestimate, Gay and Adrian's Golden Slipper day. But things will, he'll run well. But the figures just aren't there. He was a good tough win. It's as simple as that, Corey.
I didn't mind the run of the second horse, Sweet Ride. John Van Overmeer, I thought it boxed on good. It's just a hard day, Ronnie, like we said, to make ground. To give sort of magic. I don't know. He was an eye-catching run last time, but he just didn't sort of have that zest get into the line that he had for first go.
Yeah, look.
Well, surely anything can win this Golden Slipper. Anything. Coolangatta, Sajardin, Russian Conquest, Best of Bordeaux, She's Extreme. Look at all these winners of the lead-up races. Coolangatta, Duff.
Very happy with him. Yep.
Best of luck.
Okay, thanks, Chantal.
Race 4 is the Highland Race Colours Ajax Stakes over 1,500 metres.
And they're racing, and Ellsberg let brilliantly wide out. Blue Soldier revved up to make him work a bit. In fact, Blue Soldier's going on with a job here and will hold out Ellsberg in the early stages. Just Folk races in third and racing a bit. Kerry falls the last two. No change to the order. At the 600 metres, Blue Soldier, a narrow leader now from Ellsberg, who's starting to get closer on the outside and up in the ante and taking a rails run. Just Folk. Two further back to Brutality being scrubbed up. Kiku going okay. Got past Brutality there. Just Folk's made a good run on the inside and races to the lead. Blue Soldier thrown in the towel. It's Just Folk a half to Ellsberg, and then came Kiku. Just Folk, Colin riding for dear life now. Ellsberg, Clark's trying to get into left again. Just Folk in front from Ellsberg, who's trying. Just Folk is clinging on, and the Victorian wins the Ajax. Just Folk a long neck to Ellsberg. A couple off to Kiku. Joe Mari's run home really well at the end. And a photo for fourth from Brutality, Blue Soldier, and Waiwiri Falls.
Gee, that's good placement by Josh Julius, isn't it? I mean, this horse had made so much progress in the spring. He got that Group 2. He ran pretty well in the North Stakes. He was in the market, Lizzie, and one of your favourite jockeys, and Jason Collett gets the money.
Had all the wet track form. He'd run him in 2 hard races where he was just tucked away and run well at massive odds and finds a suitable target for him. And I think he was always in control. Well, his father was a great jumps jockey. He won a Hiskins and a Grand National. So he's from a great racing family, Josh, and it's a good story. He always travelled. He gets a ticket into the Doncaster Mile now, and who knows, if he gets a wet track, he might be something, one of the long shot chances. I still think Ellsberg went very, very well. He got taken out of his comfort zone.
I was about to say young Tommy Sherry on Blue Soldier. He definitely likes to lead races. Yeah, he likes to be in control.
Yeah, he does. And Kiku was a corner,
and she ran a really, really good race. Best of luck, Regan. Thank you.
Race number 6 is the Far Lap Stakes, the Shandon Far Lap, 1,500 metres at Group 2 level, a race that's been dominated by Chris Waller. He's won this race 6 of the last 7 years.
Ready for the Far Lap. Gates open, they're off. Mr. Mozart jumped well. Never Been Kissed is right there on the inside, and Bayliss is going to use that inside gate to lead. Sandstock away well goes to second, and now Mr. Mozart's caught 3 wide. Has to go on with the job, followed by Character fourth. The rails are linked to Roots, followed by Extreme Flight is firing up on the outside of Fangirl. Never is creeping close to the rails, and Extreme Flight is last of all. 700 metres to run. Mr. Mozart's worked hard in the early stages, leads by a length and a half to Never Been Kissed. Then Character on the inside of Sandstock. Then the 2 Wallow fillies, Fangirl stride for stride with Roots the outside. Extreme Flight's last of all. Coming to the turn, Mr. Mozart. Never Been Kissed now moves up on the outside a half length away. Then Character. Fangirl goes to the inside. To the outside is Roots and Sandstock between them. Never Been Kissed is laying it down now. Mr. Mozart. 2 lengths clear from Character. 3 lengths to Fangirl and a length further back to Roots. Mr. Mozart and Never Been Kissed. On the inside, Mr. Mozart beat off Never Been Kissed. Fangirl can't get there. Character goes to third. Mr. Mozart, that's been a great win by the colt there. Mr. Mozart beat Never Been Kissed, and Character third, followed by Fangirl. She struggled to pick up. Then Extreme Flight, followed by Roots, and Sandstock was last in.
Well, we're seeing an upset or two, aren't we? So William Pike gets that decent winner there for the Hawks stable. He raced hard early, Mr. Mozart, didn't he? It looked like Never Been Kissed. Lizzie, Fangirl was
last at his 2 runs after running last at his 2 runs back in Melbourne as an $18 chance and a $61 chance. He didn't have a lot of luck in in one of those at least, so he wasn't scared to use him up and take over control from Never Been.
But she couldn't get the job done yesterday.
Yeah, and I think the sectionals told the tale here. It was the quickest last 600 of the day, including the short course races. So to the eye, I thought, oh, OK, he's rolled along OK, Mr. Mozart. but when you pull it apart, he absolutely cantered and got a rest mid-stages, which made it impossible for these back markers, I must say. So it's a big return to form for him, considering he'd run last in his 2 runs back from a spell. She's just looking for a dry track, never been kissed. He's ticking along well, character, for the longer races there. And look, I think we've got to be a little bit forgiving. Disappointing, $1.60, but we're working with these tracks that these, you know, it was pretty heavy there yesterday.
Yeah, all the boys were saying it was very testing the track. Like, it wasn't kicking up much, but they were getting right down into it. They said the fence was like quicksand when you got anywhere near the fence. I know they didn't go there any part of the day. I thought, never think next time out it'll be really hard to beat.
And how fitting, Pike winning the far lap, so we should have known.
I never thought about that.
How did we not pick that up on the day?
Well, Tom Sherry's looking to get...
So the runners are parading here for the big one of the day, the Coolmore Classic. 1,500 metres ahead of them. $100,000. Mr. Gately, Espiona, Chris Waller chases his first win in the race with a potential...
If he gets some soft sectionals mid-race, he'll hit the line solid. I just love the way this horse gets through the wet.
She loves Rose Hill, and 1,500 isn't a problem. She's won at 1,600 metres, and it's by McPhee, and they are one of the best.
And they're off and racing. And Expat hopped out well together with Mirror Vision, and Vangelica's showing great zip from the outside. Vangelic moves up on the outside of Expat, who's punching through. Yes, Baby Yes is right there on the inside of Mirror Vision, and Lighthouse settles in 5th. Then came Polly Gray from Capistel Hinge. Espiona's well back on the rails from Wonder Bar, and Promise of Success is the last one. And don't tell me she's done it again at Tissue. I can't find her. As they go up to the first turn at the 1,000, and Expat shows the way by a length and a half now, was able to hold out Vangelic. Yes, Baby Yes in 3rd, then Mirror Vision, Lighthouse 5th, followed by Capistel, Hinge, Polly Gray, Wonder Bar, Promise of Success, and the favourite Espiona's last, and a Tissue. She's a very bad girl. She hasn't come out of the gates again. Expat rolling in the lead for Tom Sherry, leads by a half length on Vangelic, and the pair go stride for stride at the 500 metres. Mirror Vision gets a good cut into it on the outside of Yes Baby Yes, then Lighthouse from Capistel, Polly Gray, Espiona will ride right up the inside as they swing for home, and Expat is the leader, got a length and a half now up on Vangelic, and their dominant leaders. Lighthouse goes to 3rd from Mirror Vision, Espiona's not in the hunt, Expat in front, Lighthouse, the Greys digging in, and Lighthouse moved up to Expat, clear from Mirror Vision, Vangelic and Promise of Success, but Lighthouse, she's drawn clear here in the Coolmore Classic, and Lighthouse way too good. Mirror Vision 2nd. Hinge jumped out of the ground to run 3rd in front of Promise of Success, and Expat close up. Then came Vangelic from Espiona, who couldn't make up the leeway. Then Wonder Bar, a gap back to Capistel from Polly Gray, and Yes Baby Yes was last in.
With the Tissue not coming out of the barrier, so that's going to be, you would think, the end of her racing career here. She's had a couple of goes now. It's let's see where she is. Yep, you can just see in the middle there, not happening.
She actually reared up this time, so I suppose
she doesn't want to have a
Further back than 2nd, this American mare, and a lot of confidence in her today. Jason just rode her beautifully, and she finished right off at the 1,500 metres there. It was much a real grand
mare, trained by Kieran Maher and David Eustace. A bit of an experiment that has paid off big time.
Yeah, I reckon, and haven't they done a great job with the Maher and Eustace? She's been up a long while, and she's just showed that level of consistency all the way through, and to get her up and peak her up at a first time at 1,500 metres, that's amazing. She is what we call a blue hen. When she goes to stud, having that sprinting and, you know, overseas pedigree to her, she's going to be worth a fortune as far as in the breeding barn. And not only that, she collects on the big stage here. What are we going to say here? Mirror Vision was, well, she peaked up on a grand final day and did a good job. Hinged is probably looking for a bit further. And yeah, look, I think Promise of Success was huge.
I think it was the run of the race, to be honest, because all day they weren't making ground, Ronnie. Nothing really come from back off them. Poor Expat probably had to do a little bit too much work. Young Tommy Sherry didn't get the soft lead that he wanted, but yeah, I thought Promise of Success.
Let's go and hear from Kieran Maher and Len combined in training partnership. Kieran Maher and David Eustace have now won 13 together. Now we're waiting for that replay to come up. I think we've got a few technical difficulties there. Let's put the market up first of all, and then we'll go to that race of Gypsy Goddess. $6 she is now for David Van Dyke. Pretty amazing at $8. And Fangirl, she's drifted out to 11. Hinged is also at 11. There were a couple of quotes there yesterday from David Van Dyke. He is in no way hiding his belief in this filly. He's going to sing it from the rooftops, how good this girl is, Gypsy Goddess stuff.
Yeah, look, she's 5 from 5 now, and she was brilliant again yesterday. She ran very fast time in comparison to a weaker race over the same distance, and there's a lot to like about her. If you just see her, the arrogance of this win, where she just, he's just kidding on her out wide there. He just says, OK, let her just stride past them here, and away she goes. So
a little bit of 6 home too.
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, that's all it was.
Yep.
So she's got some lungs on her. It's hard to line them up because you don't, these 3-year-old fillies can just jump out of the ground out of, maiden class just like that. But she's 5 from 5, and I don't, it's a long way to go.
There's plenty of upside to her.
Yeah, there is.
Yep.
There is. David knows what a good horse is about, and if he's talking her up, we should listen.
Drive through at any restaurant around the country. And the second being Nick Ashman's best bet when it comes up at the Moonee Valley 7th race of the evening. And we get that right here with Castlereagh Kid. Absolutely well spec'd here. The second best backed is El Patroness, which is getting some cash. But Castlereagh Kid looks the one to beat, racing in fine form. Probably the reason why Nick Ashman has it as his best bet. $3.
$20 million Group 2 Alistair Clark Stakes. And Nick, you told us at the start of the night your best bet came up here. You're sticking solid?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think he's a good horse. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse develops into a Cup sort of horse in the spring, maybe a Caulfield Cup more so than a Melbourne Cup.
War Eternal still holding on, and just a nice little market mover there into $5. So some good support.
Clark, and away they go. Semper Fortis away cleanly. Lucky Decision jumped well with War Eternal, Healing Game. And there's Castlereagh Kid from the deep also coming over. Made a line of 5 with also booting up underneath of it El Patroness at the judge. Castlereagh Kid coming over. Lucky Decision, Healing Game underneath of it, and they were followed by out 3 wide El Patroness. Further back is War Eternal, Predetermined, Semper Fortis, Bon Vivant. Grey is last. Healing Game, 800 metres to go. By about a neck, El Patroness, who just moves up a little bit closer and puts a bit more pace on. 2.5 lengths, Castlereagh Kid, Lucky Decision. Then came Predetermined, Semper Fortis going backwards. Bon Vivant starting to sool into it, and well back in the field, Elzami. Healing Game at the 550, El Patroness. They were followed by Castlereagh Kid, who's felt 4-3 wide under the whip. Predetermined runs on with War Eternal, and Lucky Decision has run right up behind them, but needs a run. El Patroness at the 300 with Predetermined, then Healing Game. Lucky Decision needs a run. Can't Go Wong is running on from War Eternal, and Elzami down the outside. A few hopes at the 150. Predetermined in front of Castlereagh Kid. Can't Go Wong, Elzami and War Eternal, but kicking on strongly. It's Predetermined clear, and Predetermined won it from Can't Go Wong. Photo third, War Eternal or Elzami, followed by Lucky Decision. Next, Castlereagh Kid, the Cunning Fox, El Patroness, Healing Game. Bon Vivant dropped away, and a long last, Semper Fortis.
What a moment for young trainer Matthew Brown. The biggest win of his career comes in the $750,000 Alistair Clark Stakes with a horse he's always had a huge opinion of, Predetermined. He threw him in the deep end in the spring. He threw him in at Group 1 level last start. And Lizzie, he gets his big payday tonight.
He was always going to improve, and he's done a great job, and congratulations to Matty Brown and Connections. And wonder what he does.
Yes, fantastic build-up. Wait for Age, the mile, the All-Star Mile. Zaki's here to play. We open up at 3.10 at Sportsbet. He got as short as $2.40 on race day, clearly dominating the turnover. Now, the wide gate's not going to worry him. Nothing's won on the fence today. And when we go through our last few winners, you look at Classy Miss, you also look at Gawa, Yon.
And Luna Fox rounding out the top 4. Into the mounting art, and a look at our mouth-watering field of 15. We start with horse 2, Zaki, of course, the McKinnon winner here back in the spring. He was the Cox Plate favourite till he was scratched on race morning. He returned with the second in the Blamey.
He's an outstanding galloper, and I think the market suggests that he is the best performed horse in this race. He's
me to start with her sensational performance to win the Blamey, defeating Zaki. The Peters Racing team, of course, Quinella in this race 2 years ago with Regal Power and Superstorm. The last time she was at a mile on a good surface, she won the Railway Stakes in almost track record time.
She's a sensational mare. It's as simple as that. It's a third run of the preparation. She should be near her.
Thunderstruck via the Aura and the Futurity, the Turak and Golden Eagle winner in the spring.
I'm warming to him, Nigel. I've been a little underwhelmed by his 2 efforts leading in, but he didn't get a lot of room at Caulfield last start. Flemington's a big plus for him.
In your top 4 for the 4th All-Star Mile.
It's going to be another fantastic edition, I'm sure, Nigel, and it's laden with horses of a high calibre, and I think Inspirational Girl might be able to land the spoils today and give Connections effective.
350 earlier in the week was snapped up late on Thursday. The support continued on Friday, and now it's full throttle for the favourite. 260 down to 240.
No knock on Zaki at all today, and he's always a horse I tend to like putting on top, but today it's all about Inspirational Girl for me. I just saw it go past.
Inspirational Girl, 650 you can have there. Charlotte's pick of the yard, and she's been rock solid right throughout since markets have opened the All-Star Mile when we declared the field. OK, let's have a look at Zaki, though. He continues to trim, and I'll tell you, folks, straight away, he is the market mover. Race 6, number 2. He seems to be the best horse on paper, and the market suggests that today. Drawn wide, watch him go.
Ready. Holds them momentarily. Set now, and gates are back, and they're racing in the All-Star Mile. Streets of Avalon to Fane, King Magnus jump well with Call Sign Mav. Lightsaber and Zaki are also storming over from the deep. Call Sign Mav is the leader after 200 from Lightsaber. Zaki at the moment 3 wide. They were followed by Pinstriped a lot closer today outside of Tefane, and also on the inside Streets of Avalon. 2 further back is King Magnus. Ice Bath is trapped wide. I'm Thunderstruck midfield the inside. They were followed by Inspirational Girl, Luna Fox, Mr. Brightside, well back Captive on Cascadian, and last Sierra Sue. Call Sign Mav is the leader as they reach the 950. Tried to slacken from Zaki. Lightsaber third. 4th is Pinstriped. A length Ice Bath around Streets of Avalon to Fane between horses. Luna Fox deeper. Then Inspirational Girl, I'm Thunderstruck. Further back is Captive on, who's travelling very deep on the course. Well back Cascadian, King Magnus, Mr. Brightside on the inside of Sierra Sue. 600 metres to go in the All-Star Mile. Call Sign Mav in front from Zaki the outside, who gives it the stare. Lightsaber a length and a half away. Pinstriped wider. Streets of Avalon. Ice Bath deeper. They were followed by Luna Fox to Fane. I'm Thunderstruck. Inspirational Girl trying to wind up 6 off the lead. Zaki went to the front. 300 metres to go. Put up 2 legs. Streets of Avalon. Pinstriped. I'm Thunderstruck late. Then Call Sign Mav. Zaki with 150 to go from Streets of Avalon. I'm Thunderstruck, but it's Zaki clear. 50 metres to go. Zaki, a star, an All-Star Mile winner, scored a length and a quarter. Second, I'm Thunderstruck, Streets of Avalon. They were followed by Mr. Brightside, Cascadian, Inspirational Girl, Sierra Sue, Ice Bath, Tefane, Pinstripe, Call Sign Mav got tired. Well back, King Magnus, Lightsaber, Captivant, and Luna Fox was one of the last.
He's a beast. He's as good as we've got on Australian soil right now. Zaki takes out the 2022 Sepout Wines All-Star Mile in a command performance, not just for the horse, not just for trainer Annabelle Neesham, but it includes Jamie Carr, who's provided one of the great rides in a big race here at Flemington. Drew 15 of 15, finds the fence and leads them a merry dance. I'm Thunderstruck, similarly, a great performance under John McNeil from the inside draw that perhaps looked to be a disadvantage to run second. But how about the play?
The betting was spot on. The market really rallied around Zaki. A plan was hatched. It was perfectly executed from Jamie Carr. And what about the roar from the crowd?
This mile race, the All-Star Mile, and well, Jamie Carr's efforts here, Hutch from the right of screen, gate 15 to get across and find the right spot was ultimately the difference.
It was a fantastic ride. I thought it would pose some serious issues, but I think just this part here, she could have been posted. She presses on and she continues on, and she almost dictates early there to the Lightsaber to just slide across, and then she can control the race. And that middle section, that was the difference in it. Now she can get a breather. No other riders decided to make a move, and she is controlling the race and had a picnic really on speed.
That race was over after 2 furlongs through. The one thing we were talking about before the race was, could she get posted? Once Lightsaber gave up the spot outside the leader, the race was over. And there was no real intent by anything during the race up until, you know, into the straight to put any tempo into the race. Another poor tempo feature race we've had in Melbourne this autumn. That race was over. They may as well just gift wrap the trophy, put a bow around it and hand it to her.
Let's take Matt Hill's call of the All-Star Mile.
From Zaki, I'm Thunderstruck. Inspirational Girl trying to wind up 6 off the lead. Zaki went to the front. 300 metres to go. Put up 2 legs. Streets of Avalon, Pinstripe. I'm Thunderstruck late, then call sign Mav. Zaki with 150 to go from Streets of Avalon. I'm Thunderstruck. But it's Zaki clear. 50 metres to go. Zaki, a star, an all-star mile winner. Scored a length and a quarter. Second.
He's a beast without a doubt. It's been an incredible 12-month and a training performance also from Annabelle Neesham and her team to adapt the horse to Australian conditions. Dwayne, from your point of view, having ridden in so many big mile races.
But in the end it was relatively smooth enough. He's just a superstar horse. You can begin him and then he comes back. He does everything right. I thought we were going pretty well on the turn, but his just sustained speed is unbelievable. He's just a machine.
How much of it was circuit?
She thought, I've got to go now because you don't want to be out sprinted because, you know, he can run home in some pretty slick sections as it was. I mean, he's run the 9th best final 200 at the meeting in a mile race where you'd expect there to be a lot more pressure. And I think that just, with I'm Thunderstruck running the 4th best sort of closing section, it just indicates really what a sedate sort of pace that they went.
So 4 mile races on the day. This was the 3rd fastest.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's racing. That's what happens. It's disappointing there wasn't more pressure. But, look, I think you've got to give plaudits to Jamie. And you've got a horse that can race on speed, so you make your own luck, and that's what can happen.
Absolutely. That mid-race slowdown was what sort of concertinaed back in the field, which killed horses like Cascadian and that. They weren't able to get their momentum.
Just there, Dwayne, as well, at the back, Cascadian, Ollie had an opportunity to sort of come back and around at one stage, and I think he was going to, and then he went back inside. Probably should have finished a length or so closer with that chopper shot, which is the best shot in racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great in the sprint race. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. The other horse there that maybe affected the tempo of the race was Mr. Brightside being scratchy out of the gates.
Yeah.
He ran really well yesterday, Mr. Brightside.
What about Streets of Avalon?
Incredible.
He did, and we keep talking about it. It's racing style. Just whack yourself up there on the speed, relax, slow the speed up mid-race, and the race is all over. He is an absolute beauty. He looks just makes his own luck and wins more often than not with that winning strike rate.
I liked how he raced a lot more tractable yesterday, Ronnie. He sort of like, I know it's probably when he's getting tired, races fresh, and he gets a little bit tired, he starts sort of doing things wrong in the straight, but I just loved how he was so tractable yesterday and chased the line solid.
Well, he relaxed better. Sometimes he just fights, but yesterday he come back to, 14 to the furlong there, it looked like, but he's right on target, that other horse. I'm Thunderstruck. You watch him when he gets to the Doncaster Mile. He's ready for a peak performance.
A couple of big horses coming back to the champ.
Yeah, it's a 3rd appearance in the race, and last year's event, well, that was one of the great races of the modern era, very elegant at a Dave going toe-to-toe. And I think a lot of us lost sight of the fact that Angel of Truth was still kicking up on the inside running rail. They keep going.
She shoots for 15 million in the bank and 12 Group 1s. Very elegant. Chris Waller, James McDonald.
No, I'm sure, even if you don't have a bet here, she'd be the one you're cheering home. There's no doubt about it. She's a champion mare.
I think it's just a matter of James McDonald.
Did a good job first up off a crawling tempo. It can place 5, 6, 1, 4.
Very quiet, very elegant. The hot favourite, 135 into $1.18, just back to 124. Montefilia 6 out to 10.
Track, so
2. You might get it all.
Often racing, Secandra jump well. Angel of Truth being reined along. On Todd out deep from Montefilia. Very elegant, settles second last, and the Mystery's last of all. Angel of Truth there in the cerise jacket. In between runners is pushing on together with Anton on the outside. And Anton looks as though he's going to take up the running from Angel of Truth. And still very elegant racing, held up at the 1,000 metres last of all, 5 lengths off the lead. So McDonald happy to sit back, and Anton is more than content to keep rolling in the the lead by 2 lengths on Angel of Truth. Ran up blinder in this race last year. Secandra in third, a length further back to Montefilia, who's got 2 lengths in advance. Very elegant at this point, and back on the inside is a Misery. So they're starting to take slightly closer order, and on John of the 600 metres, a length on Angel of Truth. Now Montefilia pulls out 3 wide, and McDonald gets onto her back now on Very Elegant as things start to ramp up at the 450. Angel of Truth lays it down to Antonio. Montefilia gets going, and a length and a half further back to Very Elegant. Montefilia races to the lead of the 350 by a length on Very Elegant, who's drifting a bit under pressure. Montefilia is going great guns. Is she going to cause the upset? Montefilia is fending off there, Very Elegant, and Montefilia draws clear here in the round for a 4th Group 1 victory, and she's claimed a big scalp today. Montefilia by a length and 3/4 to Very Elegant. 6 lengths to Angel of Truth. A gap back to Secandra Bad, a Misery, and Anton.
A huge boil over. Montefilia, who is just a terrific mare, to be fair to her. That's her 4th career Group 1. For David Payne and Jason Collett, it's so important, but it's a favourite surface. Very Elegant comes up on the outside of Montefilia. James McDonald right here says, hello.
Wind up in 3rd spot.
Oh, absolutely no doubt in the wide world, no excuses, because he had Montefilia's back. He cruised up on the point of the turn. He waited, and then was there at the right time, but she raced away from him over the concluding stages.
I don't know. Many may have thought of formality here for Very Elegant, but Montefilia, David Payne had other plans.
Yeah, look, first glance you think, oh, well, disappointing. She had a chance, Very Elegant. Second glance, and looking at some of the times and whatever, it might have just been an outstanding performance from a very, very good mare.
Well, if you look at the rest of them, Angel of Truth, you know, like they've streaked them.
Yep.
It was an amazing ride by Jason Collett. It mightn't look like it, but for the first, the difference, but it was a very, very, very smart ride.
Yeah, she was there at the right time. I would have, in retrospect, I don't, like I said, the same old story. I don't want them coming too wide, where she had to come and make a run. And then maybe I'm just thinking maybe she's 2,400 now.
Yeah.
She needs that 2,400. Yep. And this mare is not getting enough credit because she's always shown that ability. She's won multiple Group 1s. Yep. And I think this may well be her preparation. Like, I think David Payne thinks he can win a Melbourne Cup with her. Yep. And when you look at the next race, where Animo wins by 7.
It's Anchorage Stakes market.
Yeah, well, that's got a duet's perfectly placed there, and who knows what the rest are doing, and whether Montefilia goes there. Does Animo go there?
So there's Richard Litt with Ali Mosley. Profondo second up from a break. So the second of the Group 1s here at Rosehill Gardens is the Guineas. And they square off again as we go up to Darren Flindell in Animo and Converge, and another round this afternoon, Daz.
Yeah, Gav, I'm really looking forward to the rematch here from the round with Guineas between Converge and Animo, and the way the market is with Converge at $4 and Animo odds on, I've got to stick with Converge, and it's going to be...
I think last time out with Animo, I think he went one pair too far back, but I don't think he'll do that today. James McDonald's the number 1 Animo.
When he gets behind the barrier, but 200% improvement. 200% improvement today on what he has been in his past couple of runs. So
we're ready for the Rosehill Guineas. And they're off and racing. Converge was the first head out of the gate. Profondo's directly underneath. And Animo moves up to 3rd early. From Mediara on the fence, then Forgot You. And Sinbar's going to flop out the back, so it's Converge in front. Profondo took hold there, so Animo's going to roll on the outside. Converge went down to the rails, really steadied the tempo there, and Animo moves up on the outside. Profondo's racing very keenly right behind. Bowman's got a job to get him to switch off at the moment. Then came Mediaro, Forgot You, and Sinbar's last. James McDonald's going to take the favourite of the front now. And Animo heads to the lead narrowly, and he drops anchor, and Profondo pulled his way to the lead. He's travelling very strongly, and in the Guineas going down the back, it's Profondo in control now by 2.5 on Animo, who's got the advantage of being in front, and Sinbar's last of all about 8 lengths off the lead. So Profondo's run this at a very strong tempo. He's been going hard all the way by 4 lengths on Animo. Forgot You races to 3rd now, and Conversion a little bit of a pocket back on the inside. Sinbar on the running line from Mediaro, and only 6 lengths covers the field now. It's Profondo coming back to Animo, a length and a half between them at the 600 metres. Forgot You moving up 3 wide, a length and a half to Converge, who's still travelling okay on the inside as they come up to the home turn now. And it's Profondo and Animo, toe for toe at the top of the straight. Profondo in front from Animo, 2 lengths to Converge. Animo's getting serious now, and he said ta-da to Profondo. Away goes Animo in the Rosehill Guineas. He's well clear. Converge is trying to run into second place. He probably will at the end, but this is the best of Animo today. A brilliant performance in the Rosehill Guineas, won it by 7 lengths. Converge second, Forgot You third. Profondo gassed in fourth. The Mediaro and Sinbar was last.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and that's Animo at his best. That's what we saw in the Caulfield Guineas, narrowly beaten in a Cox Plate as a young 3-year-old. I think he's the one to beat in a Queen Elizabeth. If he goes that way, he'll give Very Elegant and others a lot to think about. Breathtaking at 2,000 metres. And for James McDonald, 50 Australian Group 1s, and he does it quicker than the master, Damien Oliver. What a talent he is, and And James Cummings?
Be a new Queen Elizabeth favourite after that. He was $6 prior to this race, and now he's a $3.50 favourite. There you go. And so he should be. He paraded beautifully today, relaxed beautifully. McDonald had confidence in him. Just went for home a little bit sooner than normal, maybe just to take the sprint out of Converge, which he did. And he raced away like a good colt, what he is. And how exciting is that? He's an absolute beauty. And
boy Animo, he made us sit up and take notice yesterday.
Yeah, he's been building. He's been very fresh and colty, but that's yesterday probably trained up and very fit. He was just a different horse.
Yeah, I just love the way he paraded. Yeah, like he walked around the enclosure like a real old timer yesterday, where his first 2 runs he's been kicking the rail every chance he got, and got quite hot. Not really hot, but he's definitely sweating up. But yesterday he just paraded like an old timer, and James had to ride him against the pattern that he wanted to. He thought Converge was going to be the leader. Profondo got in between them and caused a little bit of havoc down the back, and James had to push on, take up the lead there at one point. But just the way that he put him to the sword, Ronnie, it was dynamic.
Oh, nearly 7 lengths. What can you do? That was a better ride than Very Elegant. That was a smart ride, you know. Yeah, we Godolphin team, but he's exciting, isn't he? He's
Profondo.
Well, yeah, he's too fresh. He did that last preparation as well, and then he was okay after 2 runs. But he's. I thought he went all right considering what he did in the run. He was out on his feet there late. On a dry track next time, and maybe Converge. Maybe comes back to the mile of the Doncaster. Yeah. You'd think that'd suit him better looking at that. Isn't this a proper race? This could be one of the best races we've seen in years. Animo, Very Elegant, Zaki, Douay, Montefilia. Think it over. You could go down the list there.
So the next of the Group 1s is the George Rider as we head up to Darren Flindell.
Thanks, Gav. Well, Forbidden Love's in a pretty good space at the moment, and she's loving these heavy tracks. I think she'll just get the gun run behind Riadini and go bang and make it 3 in a row. Private Eye could be the big improver given his...
Forbidden Love is our favourite here and well supported. There's not much of a gap in terms of the hold between that horse and Colette. So you can see 250 and 420 at the moment from a market side of things, but in terms of money...
Racing now. Private Eye jump well off the inside. Riadini there and Forbidden Love going forward. White Outlaws of Indices and Dallasan going on with it, and now Colding's having a pop for the lead as well. Back to third last is Colette, followed then by Halal, and Banker's Choice is last of all. Riadini pushes on. Laws of Indices pretty charged up the outside. Goes to second now. Colding took a set. Dallasan's deeper out, and Forbidden Love poking through the centre. So the favourite will settle 5th there. Ahead in front. 2 Laws of Indices and Dallasan's parked deep on the outside of Forbidden Love, and Colding's right there on the fence. A length and a half to Colette from Private Eye. Halal, Banker's Banker's Choice, 6 off the lead. Last of all, it's Reid just in front from Laws of Indices. Dalassan's been wide the trip on the outside of Forbidden Love. Then came Colding. Now Colette being roused along well before the turn. Private Eyes coming off underneath. Got disappointed for a run there. Private Eyes, they straighten up. Laws of Indices races to the lead. Forbidden Love's giving chase now. Colette goes back to the inside and down the outside. Banker's Choice. It's Forbidden Love tackling for the lead. Forbidden Love put the head in front. Banker's Choice is running on well the outside, but Forbidden Love's drawn a length and a half clear. Colette the inside. Laws of Indices fights on, but here's another one for Forbidden Love. She's in grand form and goes on to win the George Ryder by a length and a half. Colette. Laws of Indices has run a cracker third, followed then by Banker's Choice. Private Eye, who got shuffled back a bit on the turn. Further back to Halal, Dalassan, Colding, and Riadini was last in.
A mare who absolutely loves it. With Rain Effector going, a mare in form has just relishing her racing. She makes it 3 in a row. She wins a Guy Walter. 3 in a row. She wins a Guy Walter. Wins the Canterbury Stakes Group 1. Wins the George Ryder Group 1. And for Huey Bowman, he's now won his 48th Group 1 during the Sydney Autumn Carnival, which is the greatest.
Richard, that was, and they're in form.
Well, she might be the best wet tracker in the world. I mean, she just loves it on a wet track, and I think Huey gave her a lovely ride. I was a bit worried about...
Amazing form at the moment.
What a month she's had. A Group 2 and 2 Group 1s have just, well, they've fallen into a lap. She was up to 1,500 again yesterday, and well, we keep talking about rides. This is a beautiful ride. He knew, Bowman knew he wasn't, this wasn't 1,300, it was 1,500. We expected him to be aggressive, you know, get behind the leader, but things didn't work out that way. He said, I'm going to just ride her that length back further and cuddle her as long as I need to, and it's certainly paid a dividend. She's flying. Colette was much better from Law of Indices, with another one who's been messy in the yard, but he wasn't yesterday. So if he continues to parade like that, he's a sleeper in one of these races as well. And he was just very fresh there yesterday, Private Eye. I think maybe there's a little excuse for him, but what a job this mare's done.
Yeah, Private Eye, I do think...
Sire in Schnitzel, as Gerald Ryan also mentioned earlier in the week, so I think he looks fantastic ahead of the Golden Slipper.
There's Ali Mosley with Best of Bordeaux, the Queenslander, looking to remain unbeaten. Darren, this is the big one of the day, and they're running for $5 million here in the Slipper.
The two horses I've focused on in this, those that will be strong at the end and those that will get through the heavy going. And come up with a draw today that he probably won't be as far back as he has been on previous occasions. So I've got Sajardin there, and She's Extreme backing up from the Magic Night Stakes win last week. That was some performance.
At the head of betting, $4.50, $5 around that mark, no longer today. The money has come, about 30-35% of the hold, which is pretty significant for a horse that was around the $4.80 mark, now $3.80. She's Extreme isn't the second best backed runner in the race, but has trimmed into $6. Sajardin actually occupies that spot, but about a third of that of Coolangatta, 6 out, but about a third of that of Coolangatta, 6 out to $8.50. Best of Bordeaux out to $11, Fireburn at $12, Jacquinot at $13. Since the barrier draw, or over the past couple of weeks, come today, they've just jumped into Coolangatta.
Slipper, stand by for a start. We're ready. 2-year-olds are off. They're off and racing. Rise of the Masses drawn barrier 16. Jump well. So did Queen of the Ball on the inside, and Sweet Riders right there. Lady Laguna pushing through. Followed then by Dormier, pretty handy, deep out 7 Vales. Then Coolangatta, who's got into a prominent role. Russian Conquest jump well, but caught wide. Then She's Extreme from Sevenac. They're followed further back then by Fireburn, who's taking an inside run from Sajardin well back. Revolutionary Miss O'High and Rise of the Masses are being caught deep, and a shuffle back as Best of Bordeaux pushes on. Best of Bordeaux at the 600 just leads from Lady Laguna. Dormier's right there in third, then Sweet Ride, 7 Vales in the white cap. Coolangatta in the middle of the ruck, Sevenac deeper out, followed then by Russian Conquest, Fireburn and She's Extreme. Best of Bordeaux swings in front by a length on Dormier. Then came Sweet Ride from Lady Laguna. Coolangatta being called upon, running on. Best of Bordeaux just in front of Dormier, but Coolangatta's giving chase. Best of Bordeaux bravely in the lead from Coolangatta. Coming through is Fireburn with a big run off the fence. and Fireburn charges home and gives Gary Portelli second golden slipper. Fireburn beat Best of Bordeaux and Coolangatta third, followed by Dormier. Further back to Oh High, She's Extreme, Queen of the Ball. Then came Jacquinot from Revolutionary Miss Shajardin, Lady Laguna from Rise of the Masses, Seven Vale, Seven Act, and Sweet Ride was about the last to finish.
Fireburn wins the Longines golden slipper. Gary Portelli gets his second slipper, and Brenton Avdulla gets his second golden slipper. And we think about he's been to hell and back in regards to his injury. He's fought back, he's overcome it all, and he's put on a clinic by going up the rails and going around one horse throughout. It was breathtaking. Just when Coolangatta loomed up to win, Best of Bordeaux has kicked strongly. Dormier, the Blue Diamond winner, will run a really stylish fourth turn with an incredible ride from Brenton Avdulla. And let's consider he was really seriously injured. There were moments where we were really fearing that we'd ever see him in the saddle again. He Group 1 horse, he got a couple of Group 1s for him. He stands at stud, and now Gary trains a filly by Rebel Dame to win the golden slipper. He gives her a huge cheer. What a thrill for Gary Portelli. Wins his second slipper. 11.90 and 3.60.
To Oh High, She's Extreme, Queen of the Ball.
Well, gents, there are simply no boring golden slippers, and yesterday was no different.
Well, where do you want to start? You know, it was from the start to finish. There was horses, you know, well, she got shuffled out. There was a chain reaction on the inside, and there was just so much action in that race.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a golden slipper without action. There's always something happening, but Firebird, you know, it was an amazing effort to be knocked over in such a high-pressure race at that stage of the race, probably around about the 700-metre mark, to pick herself up and to work to the line like she did. It was a huge effort.
Gary Portelli, you know, he hasn't got a big string, and he doesn't have multiple, you know, 20 or 30 yearlings come in, or 40 yearlings come into his stable each year. But to think he's got two runners, one by Rebel Dane, a horse he trained, it's a big pat on the back for his selection process for these yearlings, and this filly just loves to chase the line down. And while we're talking of trainers, you've got to give Casey Fogden a rap as well. Yep. The way she's handled this horse, Best of Bordeaux.
Another massive effort, Ronnie. Like, we're all, but young Sammy Clipperton let the horse glide to the lead. Didn't have an easy lead, but just the way the horse stuck on, it's a great training performance.
Coolangatta, well, you'll see her at the start here. She was just a little slow into stride, but it may have been a blessing because she just got into a beautiful position there and travelled like the winner the whole way. And you had to push out there, McDonald, and I'm not so sure out wide at Rose Hill. It's obvious it's an advantage up the inside the last couple of weeks. And look at this filly sprout wings right through the middle here, and that's a dominant performance. I want to be forgiving for Coolangatta because of that wet. She didn't let down on the wet track, although she was given every opportunity. Dormier was pretty good, and you know, you could make bits and pieces of excuses for others. Like Ohio was pretty good.
I thought it was a massive run. He only got clear run. Regan Bayliss only got clear running probably the last 100, 150, just the way that he cruised to the line. Definitely bigger wins in store for that horse.
The race itself, yes, it was hectic, yes, it was frantic, but it was, I don't know, safely enough run, but all the babies and riders got through reasonably well.
Yeah, there's always drama and excuses and whinging after. That's where the big shuffle up happened there, and you thought a few were going to get completely out of play. And Shajardin is another one that had no luck. He's found trouble everywhere he went.
Even in the straight running, like Jason had to drag him off his line, and he sort of lost balance, and he only got clear running or decent running from the 100 onwards, and he worked through to the line really, really well. So luckless for him, but that's racing.
And then we have to talk about Avdulla. He's been back a month and two big Group 1s. It's amazing. The racing is some of the stories it throws up and again. You thought, oh, he'll struggle for 3 or 4 months to just get his eye back in or get the support that he's going to get.
For sure, with the 6 months off.
After 600, where there was a bit of scrimmaging, they were right beside each other. The colt actually came in on her and smashed her, and she went straight out the back. And then so I started watching him, and then he got smashed at the top of the straight, and I thought, I said to James, not this year, mate, we're out of play. And then you can see her building and going through her revs, and, oh, mate, what a finish. Unbelievable. She won by 2.5 lengths, easing down. Rebel Dane, unbelievable. Who'd have thought he'd throw a golden slipper winner, you know?
She jumped okay, but they went along for a furlong and I just couldn't hold the spot. I was trying to keep Reid out, but I was just going to be burning, so I was happy to let her come back, let him sort of hopefully crash and tackle a few of them for me. But once we got out of the chute, there was a real shuffle up and the speed felt like it came out of the race. And I nearly all but sold out and lost plenty of momentum, ended up back second last. And from the 500 onwards, I just thought, look, I can't win the race. I'm just trying to get it comfortable and earn a bit of prize money. And once I straightened up, got it balanced and started to pick them off one by one, I got the 200 thinking this thing's still going to win. So, yeah, I knew I was home at the furlong. I just had to get out and we should come around Best of Bordeaux's heels at this race over.
Sam Clifford and Best of Bordeaux.
Fireburn back on the rail, Dwayne, in the red cap. Brenton Avdulla cops some serious interference in a moment. This is almost God's own, like in the Caulfield Guineas of 2005, to win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Just nearly, you'll see this horse on rail in a minute. He gets put up on it, all out of shape. Lucky he doesn't fall. To be able to pick himself back up after that and get the job done. But it just goes to show, two-year-old trainers year in, year out, aren't they? Like, he just turns up and he produces horses. He trained the father. It would have been such a big thrill for him, for Gary Portelli.
I can't believe this horse won this race with what happened there.
You
When you see the chopper shot, it's even worse. But it's an unbelievable win and an unbelievable ride.
It helped him because they're a very, very average bunch of two-year-olds.
It's true, but it's still a big win no matter what.
Yeah, no, it was. This will be the worst slipper in history.
Even the stablemate, even the stablemate was unlucky that. Of Portelli's as well. It never got a look in. It was in the scrimmage. So it was whoever got through that part of the race. But you're on a heavy track. This form can be turned around in next week when they go backing up into the...
It'll still go down as one of the all-time wins.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Come, and that is the Furphy Galaxy, over 1,100 metres, worth $700,000 as we go upstairs to Darren Flindell.
Keen on overpass here, Gav. What a great preparation he's had. First up, he beat Forbidden Love. Then he ran second to Lost and Running and was odds on to win the English Sprint in...
Because of that horse just discussed then, Shelby 66. When earlier on in the week we were talking double figures. About 2 minutes ago, we were talking favourite for the race. It has been a remarkable ascension for this horse. Currently equal favourite with Isotope, but there's Shelby 66. Away game at $8.50, overpassed at $10. Big Parade at $12 has just drifted at $17. But yeah, interesting market this, $6 the field.
Yeah, good luck.
Racing now. Bella Nipotina's blown the start right out the back and in the Congo. Jump fast from overpass and Malkovich settles third. Big Parade's coming across into fourth, followed then by Shelby 66, handy on the inside of Away Game. And Isotopes caught wide in the early part. Further back to Bella Nipotino, followed together by Bellucci Babe as they go into the first bend. Big and deep out Ballistic Lover. Further back to Jamea from Brooklyn Hustle, Rule of Law, and Palali's been snagged back to last. In the Congo, first up leads from Malkovich, overpass third, followed by Big Parade, and out pretty deep now as they come around the turn is Isotope into the straight, and it's in the Congo from in second position Malkovich, Big Parade, and then came further back to Isotope. Away Game, overpass looking for an inside run. Shelby 66 into the clear. It's in the Congo from Big Parade. Shelby 66 is coming after them. Shelby 66 goes after Big Parade in the Congo, fighting on. Shelby 66 put the nose in front. Wow! From the highway horse to Group 1 hero today, Shelby 66 beat Big Parade and in the Congo. Followed by Brooklyn Hustle, then came over past Bellucci Babe, Bella Nipotina, Rule of Law, then came Away Game from Paulele, Malkovich, Jamea, and Isotope giving ground, and Ballistic Lover pulled up pretty sharply.
What a moment. This is extraordinary what Danny Williams has done with Shelby 66. Go back to the 5th of February on a soft track in a highway at Randwick. He started at $11. He was beaten less than 2 lengths. Danny then took him to another highway. He was knocked off at Rose Hill. He was a $12 chance. He finally won a highway at Randwick. He scared Eduardo in a challenge and went past Nature Strip the following start. He won a Group 3 in the Morris McCartan. He's won a Group 1. He's won the Galaxy and Danny Williams, his first ever Group 1. And he teams up with Robbie Dolan, who was the jockey for Profondo that the owners sacked after his performance in Melbourne.
And he will look like holding on for a stride, but then you can see Shelby and Big Parade coming at him, and Shelby with that recent hard fit racing is just going to nab him and get him with the lightweight on the line. A great ride from a horse that is just come from nowhere, and well, he's a cult hero, there's no doubt about it. Give him a slot.
That'll be the first thing I say to Danny Williams, and he'll be making his bid. You can imagine his 8th run in 9 weeks. I don't know whether the trainer can believe it. Danny Williams is on his way over. He's been congratulated all over the place, and we're about to jump in.
That was incredible, eh? How good of a story is that?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't. How well is he going? It's just, that is incredible, you know?
8th run in 9 weeks, and then he started to make a name for himself. He became a cult hero. What is he now, Danny?
Is he in the Everest?
Give him a slot, Dan.
For sure. What an incredible story. I mean, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It's just...
It's a ridiculous story where this horse has come from. The money came for him yesterday as well, Ronnie, and he is a Galaxy winner now.
Well, we're slow learners. We're very slow learners. This has to arrive, you know, probably one of the highlights of the day, if not the highlight of the day. And even the jockey, Robbie Dolan, like he's in the Profondo story, and then all of a sudden he gets to the races there yesterday. He's had 2 rides at 52, and he arrives on both of them. He beats his old boss here. Everything's just happened in one day for him.
The swings and roundabouts of racing.
The highs and lows. Look at this horse, and it's a lovely ride. He just loves it. Look at this horse, and it's a lovely ride. He just loves it. I'm just trying to work out a program to get to this Everest. He's got to have 9 runs leading in. There's no doubt about it.
It's some sort of training performance, though. You know, like I know Danny Williams knows the horse back to front. He's obviously got bad feet, and whilst ever these wet tracks are around, I'm sure Shelby be running. But it's a super effort to have him peaking like he has.
They didn't give enough rating points when he ran behind Eduardo. They went light on him.
They went very light on him. We think about
champion jockey Dwayne Dunn. Highlight of the day, perhaps, the Galaxy in Sydney. Where has Shelby 66 come from?
I think the great thing about Shelby winning was everybody out there who owns a benchmark 58 horse or a 64 horse can still dream about it being a Group 1 horse. To do it week after week, though, one week after the other is astonishing. Just a great performance.
15 starts since September, but he hadn't won a race in that sequence till 4 starts ago. Won 3 of his last 4, and the unplaced run was splitting a couple of good horses in Nate Strip and Eduardo. Been an incredible trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those great racing stories, isn't it? You love the sort of the battle of the battling horse who takes on the Group 1s, and week after week, I mean, he was only an emergency for that race too, wasn't he? So
yes, he was. Yeah.
He really needed the wet weather to get into the race.
And good for Robbie Dolan as well, who, of course, came off Profondo, a horse he's helped build his career on in the early stages. Profondo had his first run without him yesterday in the Rosehill Guineas, and Robbie Dolan grabs his 2nd Group 1. Dwayne, great to have...
Maybe a Shout the Bar or a Bar Braider wanted to go really, really hard and overdo things. She is as good as I've seen from her. As I said, she can get a bit worked up.
Yeah, well, plenty of punters are with you with the pick of the yard there, Nick. Barb Raider, albeit the drift, has seen a really, really nice push of money, now into $5.50 over the last sort of 5 or so minutes. But Flying Mascot, again, one of the better supported runners of the day at $1.60 there, $1.75.
Group 2 event of the night, and away they go. Groovy Kinda Love missed the start, a length and a quarter, gets back towards the end. Shout the Bar fires out and straight to the lead from Flying Mascot, Bar Braider, Bonvicini, then Bound to Win. Quantum Mechanic next on the outside of Groovy Kinda. Quantum Mechanic to the side of the track, 600 metres to go in the sunline. Shout the Bar nibbled at odds, led by a length to Bar Braider, 2 lengths Flying Mascot, Bonvicini, then Bound to Win niggled at from Quantum Mechanic and Groovy Kinda Love. Shout the Bar Bar about to go again as they reach the 400 metres. 3/4 of a length in front of Barb Raider, scrubbed along to try and stay in touch, and now given a slap with the whip. Flying Mascot peels out, then Bonvicini. Shout the Bar tries to pinch it, comes around the corner at the 200 metres. 2 lengths Barb Raider, Flying Mascot, Quantum Mechanic in a sprint to the post. Shout the Bar, 100 metres to go, has got it won. Shout the Bar for Mark Zara is going to come clear and win it. Shout the Bar easily from Barb Raider, Flying Mascot. 4th close, Bonvicini or Quantum Mechanic then bound to win, and Groovy Kinda Love.
She's run them into the ground, Shout the Bar. She was one of the class horses in the race, the Group 1 winner in the race, and Lizzie, she's got back to something near her best, strung them out and was too quick.
You never discount one of Gay and Adrian's horses, and that's exactly what we did before the race. She'd been trialling awfully over the 1200 metres, and the anticipation is certainly starting to build, and Marabi looks as though she is going to be very hard to beat on form. Well, she's unbeaten. She made an absolute mess of them in the Oakley Plate last time, and this is another acid test.
Yeah, she was made a 7 from 7. It was a career peak performance. She sat close to a decent speed, ran fast overall time. I love the way she gives a kick off a fast speed. I prefer her at 1200 metres.
He did.
I think this favourite deserves to be a short price favourite. She's a really exciting sprinter. She has so much natural early speed. She can put herself in the first couple.
The Mar Eustace camp certainly bringing her the races in A1 condition. So she goes on top for mine. Gave a little push there to Snapper. Happy to be with
Barbie. There is certainly no knocks on the market. Still holding 8 times the cash of any other runner in this race. Far and away the best back. Generation getting some really, really good support. Still got into that $6 quote. Now just down to the $6.50 price. Now the third best back with Sportsbet is the Astrologist, albeit the drift there, $13 out to 19, was huge in the new market. Punters hoping for a similar performance here. Marabi on
the William Reid. 1200s. Signal. And away they go. Pretty good line too. Trekking goes back to the end. General Bow was a touch slow. Electric Girl second last. Marabi fires out with Snapper, and there's Jonker also storming over. Camel Passer got to 4th, followed by the Astrologist. September Run, Zuzarella, General Bow. Stand out as well back in the field off the back section. They were followed by Electric Girl, Trekking and Helvorsen. So Snapper is the leader from Jonker. 700 metres to go. 2 lengths Marabi with a lovely perch on those. They were followed by Camel Passer, the Astrologist, and further back is Generation 4 off the lead from September Run, General Bow, Standout, Zuzarella, Trekking, Electric Girl and Helvorsen. Snapper just in front of Jonker at the 500. Marabi given plenty of air, 3 wide, about to stroll up. Generations following her, followed by the Astrologist. September Run sooling into it, 3 off the lead. Snapper just in front with Marabi chasing around the turn, 200 to go. Marabi up to Snapper. They were followed by on the outside Generation, September Run. It's Marabi at the 100. September Run's got it though. September Run takes the lead. Swoopers from the back, including General Bow and Helvorsen, but September Run, she's class. Beat Helvorsen, General Bow for 4th. Generation or the Astrologist and Marabi. The bubble has burst tonight. They were followed by Trekking, Snapper, Electric Girl, Zuzarella, Jonker, well back Camel Passer, and towards the end of the field, Standout.
The Marabi run comes to an end. The winning streak stopped at 7, and it was one of the other Group 1 winners in the race. Another mare in the race, September Run, winds back the clock, gets back to something near her best, and Lizzie, that was a big win from Chris Waller's girl.
Yeah, it certainly was a big win from her. She's a proven Group 1 performer time and time again, and it's great to see her back in the winner's stall. She's probably not, this isn't her track that she absolutely loves. We've always put her down as a straight specialist, but she burst that bubble today, and she shows that she can win any type of race on any type of conditions. Great to see her back in form, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been the old September Run probably would have won that race from where she was, Ben Asghari. But the master himself, Chris Waller, yet again catches us off guard, and September Run takes out the final Group 1 of the season here in Victoria.
Well, the flip side of looking at it is a hot speed set by both Snapper and Jonker. To Snapper and Marabi's credit, they've stuck on. Jonker's dropped right out. Marabi looked as though she'd go past Snapper and be in the finish, but she wasn't able to maintain that run. September Run was too strong. Holds off. Helvorsen runs the race of his life. General Bow for 3rd. Look at these dividends. $15 the winner, $9.90 the place Helvorsen, and $8.40 the place General Bow.
Excited.
Yeah, I have been, but yeah, it's just great to be here. Great night and great atmosphere.
and September Run was ready to go, and she did a great job.
It's good to be here, I suppose.